can't lose weight, are struggling with GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
DQ presents the $7 Meal Deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new Honey Sriracha Dip. The DQ $7 Meal Deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
The sun's out, the bags are packed, and the spring getaway is finally here. Start your vacation on a high note at Park & Go. Don't let your car bake in the sun while you're away. Every single spot is covered, keeping your car cool and protected from the elements while you're gone. Just park and relax. Park & Go's free shuttle meets you right at your trunk, helps with the bags, and whisks you to the terminal. No long walks, no hidden fees, just great service and family-owned care 24/7. Reserve today at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, the best way to start your getaway.
For years, Gone South has been a podcast about crime in the American South. But for our new season, we're widening the lens. Through deeply reported, narrative-driven stories, we're digging into the myths, scandals, and power structures that still shape the South, and, in a lot of ways, the country itself. Follow and listen to Gone South Season 5, an Odyssey podcast. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC-FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome in. This is the final Character Concerns NFL Draft special of the season. Our NFL Draft coverage here on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. My name is Chris Nocero, joined as always by my guy, Jay Binkley. Bink, how you feeling on this final draft special that we have before the end of the draft season?
Feeling good, man. Seeing everybody's rankings. One thing is, and we haven't spent a ton of time with it. We'll do it again tonight. We did a little bit yesterday. The draft rankings and stuff always kills me. That's when you can't really judge it until a year or two afterwards. But everybody likes to do it, so it's kind of fun. So I've enjoyed seeing all the varying opinions on the people's draft. So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I haven't looked at the grades too much.
I glance at them, see if they like it. Then
because I know that the Chiefs have gotten a pretty positive opinion. I think Brugler had them at like his 7th or 8th ranked class.
Chiefs have all been A or B, man.
Yeah. So like I know that there's generally a mostly positive reception about their draft. And our operation is produced by Jackson Ogden on the other side. Jackson, you feeling better?
Feeling better, man. I was saying the other day, I'd never had food poisoning before.
Yeah, it sucks.
And I thought I was my birthday's on Wednesday, and I was about to go make it 25 years without food poisoning, but just right before I got hit with it.
The streak is broken.
The streak was broken. I still haven't broken a bone, though, so I've made it that far.
You pulled a Jordan Tyson, man. You pulled a Jordan Tyson. You were out.
Yeah, don't. It sucks.
Yeah, no, not planning on it. Not planning on it.
So I do want to get your guys' opinion on where you would rank, where you would grade this draft class for the Chiefs. Because I know, like, when we got off the air Thursday night, when we were at the Brooksider. I know for me and you, it was like not exactly what we wanted, but not bad. So it was a tough situation because, we're sitting here like, okay, you're starting to run out of receiving options as far as like top end because, within the first 24 picks, goes off the board Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson, and Casey Concepcion. And then at that point, it's like you're sitting there with like a Denzel Boston on the board, Omar Cooper Jr. on the board. Cooper goes pick 30 to the Jets. Denzel Boston falls to the early part of round 2. And so, the only receiver they ended up getting in this class was Cyrus Allen, the 5th round pick out of Cincy. And I know when the pick came across, it's like, oh, who the hell is Cyrus Allen? Cooper Jr. on the board. Cooper goes. What was that? Oh, was that you? Was that who played that?
That's not me.
Okay, yeah, and so it was like it was one of those things where it kind of felt like receiver was a little was a bit underserved, and we were kind of sitting there feeling some type of way about it. Obviously, the Emmett Johnson pick definitely kind of picked things up. Jaden Kennedy picked things up. I actually thought they had a really strong day 3, but now that we are 4 days removed from round 1. Now that we've gotten a couple days since the end of the draft, how do you feel? How would you grade this draft, Bink?
It was one of those things, and oftentimes you try to talk yourself into the picks. Okay, this is why they did it.
I think every fan base tries to do that for the most part.
You try to find the reasoning. Like when Dee Ford was taken by the Chiefs, wasn't wild about the pick when it happened.
No, I wasn't either.
But I was just trying.
I wanted Teddy Bridgewater or Derek Carr.
I know. I was just saying, what are they trying to do? Like, what's the goal here with Dee Ford? So you try to go through all these, things in your mind while they're doing it. With this draft, is it the direction you'd rather see? Would I'd rather see like a Jordan Tyson combination or a Mekhi Lemon and then trade up for Chris Johnson later? I would have been extremely happy with that. And I'll bring up that it might have been a scenario like that for the Kansas City Chiefs when I bring up what Albert Breer said next segment. But this is what they needed. I mean, it's not like they took something they didn't need. We all like Caleb Downs. Yeah. Caleb Downs will probably – listen, as far as the first round, I think he's the best first rounder in this draft, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought he was the best player. Yeah.
But would he help this team more than Mansour Delane next year? No. So I like what the Chiefs have done because they got him a starter. Because that's what you want in the top 10. You don't want question marks. There's no question marks with Delane. There's a lot of question marks with the top 10. With guys with injury history or what's their positional fit. There's no questions with him. That's your day one starter. You pencil him in. Or what they say Seth does on the tournament, Sharpie. I mean, he's your corner. There's no doubt there. And Peter Woods was a guy we liked at the beginning of the draft process when the college football season started. Part of that Clemson 9. A lot of them disappointed in how this last year was. We chalked it up with there was something going on because they all were like that. But no, certain guys you say, well, this is definitely something they did need.
And we'll talk
a lot.
We'll talk more about that. About Peter Woods and, how the Chiefs view him in the next segment, because I thought that Albert Breer, the article he put out, just kind of intel on different teams and their perspective on players was really interesting, and it's really something I agree with when it comes to Peter Woods. But the Delane pick, it was not a pick that I would have made in that scenario, but their logic makes a lot of sense. And the thing that really kind of And I say this about, because this is the same way I felt about the Mahomes pick at the time. Because, I wasn't a huge fan of Mahomes when he was at Tech that year. And it wasn't until they traded up 17 spots in the draft that I was like, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because the Chiefs have been rumored to go after different quarterbacks for years when Andy took over as the head coach. But they hadn't had the conviction to go up and go get a quarterback that they really liked until 2017, and they trade up 17 spots. We were thinking Mahomes was going to fall to the late first round, early second round.
He was mocked early second, late first, towards the very end.
And so he was mocked to the Chiefs at 27 on most of the mocks going into that draft right before, and then they trade up 17 spots, and your first thought is, oh, they think that Mahomes isn't going to make it to 29.
Yeah, they didn't think that. I was ecstatic. I was absolutely ecstatic because I loved watching the game.
Yeah. That was your guy in the fall.
Guy, and I loved it. But the thing is, and Cody and Gold were asking me too about the trading up for it, and there is more reasons now because obviously Jermod McCoy, Chiefs viewed him pretty high because they had Delane 1A and they had McCoy
They
1B.
originally, before the knee stuff came out, they originally had him as their 1B corner in this class.
So if you take him out of the equation, Mansour Delane becomes a lot more popular of a pick for people to come.
Right, because you don't have the fallback with McCoy.
We saw how the corners were in the first round; they just weren't there.
No, because after Delane went, they didn't go again until what was it, 27?
Second round we saw this
27 when Chris Johnson got taken
in the second round.
Yeah,
going for there. But I told him, if that's your guy and that's truly your guy, whether you give up a pick for him, a couple picks for him, it doesn't matter because the grand scheme of things, you're going to look at this draft. There's going to be 2 or 3 of them don't work out at all and barely play in the league. So yeah, if it's your guy and you really want it, you've identified it, don't hesitate. Just go up and grab the person that you have conviction with, and that was clearly Delane in this case.
And that's the thing I respect
and
about.
I'm good with people that want something identified and do it.
Yeah, and that was the thing for me, was like I respected it more because they had the conviction to go and trade up to go get him. Again, it was at the time when they made the move, I was like, that's not what I would have done. But having had more time to digest and think about it, it's like, okay, I'm cool with it. Because that conviction you talked about, feeling so strongly about a player, you're like, we got to go up and get him if we need to. They pretty much had already ruled out trading into the top 5, well before the draft.
They really haven't had that. They had that from Mahomes, like you said.
Yeah.
That was the conviction they had.
Right.
This was Noah Williams, a tad one because they did jump up
a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit, yeah.
But it was kind of in that realm. Maybe not a full conviction, like a Delane or Mahomes.
It was, there was conviction, but it just didn't cost as much.
It didn't cost nearly as much. They jumped up to get him because that was their guy. Noah Williams was their guy, and they're right. You see a lot of redrafts, mocks, and stuff. He's the first rounder. I mean, they identified it and they got him. Now, Trey Smith, they had to sit there and wait on. And they did wait a long time because they really liked him through the process. Glad he was still sitting there at 6 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, you knew that he had bad medicals there because of the blood clot situation. So, yeah, you're in that place. You're going to be a little bit more cautious there, and you get great value with Trey Smith. But, in the case of like Delane, it's like you knew he wasn't going to make it to 9. You coveted him the most in this class. This was the guy you had identified a month before the season.
He might have, but I highly doubt it.
You said what?
I said he might have, but I highly doubt it.
You said Delane?
The odds were.
I don't think he would have made it.
I don't think he would have been either. It could have been, yes, but you don't take that chance.
Yeah,
I
don't think he would have made it past there. I think for sure the Saints take him at 8, and I think there's a good chance the Commanders take him at 7.
Yeah, it's probably
even though the Commanders pretend like they didn't want him. I think they wanted him because their corners suck.
At that point, if he's still there, could have been another magical team, a mystery team show up and get him. If he's still sitting there at 8, we don't know what would happen. We don't know what happened with the Saints. Someone might have jumped up there if they wanted him or didn't quite want him enough. Someone was willing to offer more. So we don't know what had happened if he would have gone to 7 and 8. How many teams might have jumped up ahead of the Chiefs?
And reportedly, because I think when we talked to Gold on Thursday night, I think he said like the Dolphins were looking to try to trade up to the Browns spot. Yeah. And they ended up taking Chris Johnson. They ended up trading up to go take Chris Johnson later in the first round.
If he passes 6, the chances 7 and 8 get a lot of calls.
Yeah. Like, I think that someone would have jumped ahead of the Chiefs to try to get him regardless.
Because even though, quote, the Chiefs, were they really looking for a corner or not, everybody, their dog had Mansour Delane in the Chiefs in their mock.
He was the most popular the most popular pick at 9.
So it wasn't like it was out of the blue. A lot of people linked.
Yeah, that was like, it was not
even without a top 30 visit, they didn't care.
The pick was not surprising. It was the move up that was surprising. And I think that's where like the people who were negative on the move on the pick, they were negative on the trade up. They were not negative on the actual player for the most part. Some people were, but I think the biggest part was the fact that they traded up to go get him,
I think
as opposed to sticking where they were.
An even better feeling when they look back at how McDuffie did. They said, man, I'm glad the Chiefs made that move to trade up and get McDuffie. I have a feeling this Delane will be kind of in the same realm where people are glad they did it.
If Delane is great like they think he will be, then no one's going to care about where he was taken. No one's going to care about the trade value.
You'll have him for a first contract, and if he's as good as we think he can be,
maybe we'll actually resign him.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll actually get a second contract on a corner.
Well, getting short-arm guys is out of the realm of what they do. Clearly that it mattered and they've done it. So maybe they go against the grain and give a contract the second time to a corner.
Yeah. No, that'll be interesting to see. So what grade would you give the Chiefs for this draft?
in the B category, like a B plus.
B plus.
I don't think I can fully give it A. Well, if we had a first round receiver and you get an A.
Yeah. All right. What about you,
but
Jackson?
I actually like the players.
What about you, Jackson? What would you give the grade for the 20?
My immediate gut reaction was a solid B. I think I was on board with you guys where I hoped they would address receiver, but let's be honest, they had to address corner. Like, they lost 3 starters. You don't just replace those off the street. So, looking back on it, I don't mind the trade up. I think the only thing I mind is the only receiver you came out of this with was Cyrus Allen, when I feel like you could have gotten a more impactful player.
But how many starters do we have in this, Jackson, do you think? I mean, Delane for sure. Peter Woods in a rotation. Will he actually get the start? You might have 2 total starters out of the picks. That's the one thing.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be starter for me, because
I just think there's going to be a lot of rotational going on.
Like, I think like a great example is a guy like Jerick McKinnon. He wasn't quote unquote a starter, but he was very important to what they did. He was a great pass blocker, good catching out of the backfield. So, I don't necessarily grade them and say, well, they only got 2 starters out of this. I look at this and how many guys can be impactful football players on this team, and I think they did nail that. I think they've got a lot of guys in this class. You take out Nussmeier, I think the rest of this class has a chance to really have a big impact. I hope Nussmeier doesn't have to have a big impact.
I didn't even count him in the grades.
I hope we never see him in the grades.
I didn't count.
Unless it's week 17, week 18, they've already clinched everything.
I did not count Garrett.
I'm hoping he has a great preseason and we fetch like a 5th.
No, here's what's going to happen. He's going to play a preseason game and start. He's going to throw for 250, and people are going to Shane Buechele him. It's exactly 100% what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to go out there with a bunch of guys that are going to be selling insurance for Geico and State Farm next year, and he's going to throw up a bunch of yards, and people are going to love him. But it's a pick that you never want to see play, which is really weird, to get a draft pick and you hope he never plays.
So I would give it a B+, because I felt like they should have addressed wide receiver much more sooner than they did. Look, you have a lot of talent in your class right now, but if you would address wide receiver a little bit earlier, then I'd feel a lot more comfortable, because again, I still, and do I think that like Patrick has no weapons to throw to? No, he's got weapons to throw to. They're unreliable. And I wanted a little bit more measure of security in the receiving corps than anything. And that didn't happen. They did get one receiver in the draft. They did sign a couple as UDFAs. You got Amari Evans and Jeff Caldwell. So you've got options there. But again, you're talking about UDFA wide receivers. Who
may have a chance to crack 7.
Maybe though one of those guys ends up making the roster, but like I don't think so. I just wish they would have given Mahomes a little bit higher rated of a weapon than
because you see him as value. That's the franchise. That's who you give.
It's just not even just that, because they will have talent around him. It's just for me, it's like, who's gonna break out and be the star? That's the thing for me.
Here's my biggest problem with that. I know they reloaded the defense. Everybody nationally talking about their defense. People are acting like this defense was 32nd in the NFL last year. That's complete false. It was 10th ranked defense in the NFL, 6th in scoring defense. The defense was far better statistically in every category than the defense. The offense was the one that needed more help, to be quite honest with you. But stop talking about the defense being bad. Did it lose pieces? 100%. But let's make no mistake about it. It's the same group of pass catchers you had last year, and they weren't very good. But the defense, people are talking about the defense. The defense actually, statistically, did pretty well. And I'll say this, with this defense this year, there's going to be expectations. Last year, there was the 10th ranked defense in the NFL, 6th in scoring defense. You don't want to take that step back. You spent your draft capital on defense. You want to see at least maintain to be somewhere in the ballpark of the 6th best scoring defense, top 10 defense, because that's what it was. Like, you don't want to step away from that, and it looks like with the pieces they have, they can maintain that. But to me, they set that bar of where at least, not saying maybe 1, 2, or 3, but at least set that bar to be around where they were.
Yeah, my thing with the defense, though, is they lost way too many starters for them to not address it in the draft. Like, you lost so many starters. You lost 3 starting capable corners. You lost a starting safety there. Your edge rush, I mean, you lost multiple guys who were in that rotation there, so you had to retool on your defensive line. And yeah, you were missing multiple contributors on your team because they went out and signed contracts.
McDuffie definitely hurt some.
McDuffie,
Cook,
Leo,
a nice little piece there.
Cook had a great year last year.
Leo and McDuffie are the ones that are going to be missed the most.
I actually don't think Leo will be missed quite as much because you got Bossa. But the biggest misses to me, like, I think Jalen Watson and McDuffie are your two biggest misses. I think Brian Cook was a big miss there. I think having the depth with Josh Williams hurts them. And, not only that, but when Charles Omenihu goes elsewhere, when you get rid of Mike Dana, you need to replace that production there. You need to replace those snaps. And so you had to go get some guys, an interior guy and an edge guy. And that's the reason why. And also they needed guys with a little bit more juice, a little bit more explosiveness, and that's what they did with two of their first 3 picks. So you had a lot of players to replace. You had a lot more players to replace on defense than you had on offense. So I'm fine with the heavy focus on defense. And not only that, but based on what we heard today from Ryan Nutt, which we'll play more clips earlier, it wasn't like they planned to just go, heavy defense early on in this draft.
They had several ways this could have gone.
The board went the way that it went, and they took the best players that were on their board. So
there might have been a wide receiver option that was sitting there,
possibly
that they wanted.
So we will talk more about what Ryan Nutt, the VP of Player Personnel for the Chiefs, had to say earlier. He did a press conference earlier today, and I think it's really, really insightful. But coming up next, Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated. He came out and, published an article with a lot of intel on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think it's very interesting to kind of get inside their mindset of where they went in this draft and why they took the players that they did. You listen to the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Wayday now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
The first leg of the horse racing Triple Crown is on Saturday, so whether you're going to Churchill Downs or you're watching it from the comfort of your couch, you can bet the Kentucky Derby on the same place that you can bet on all of your other favorite sports on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. And right now, all customers can get a Derby bet reset. That means you'll get racing bonus backs if your bet doesn't win. The app is super easy to use. You don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. This is one of my favorite events of the sports calendar. There's no better place to celebrate one of America's exciting sporting events than with our friends over at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports on FanDuel and make it that much more exciting with your Derby bet reset. The Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated. 21 and President, Missouri. Verified FD racing account required. Refund issued. Non-withdrawal racing site credit expires 7 days after receipt. Max refund $10 as otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at racing.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car, take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day is here. It's Wayfair's big sale, where you can score the best deals in home, like up to 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. You won't find better deals for your home anywhere else. We're talking furniture, decor, rugs, and more, all at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. So don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Way Day now through April 27th to score the best deals in home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Tonight, expect a low of 45 with partly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Back in here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. So earlier this morning, Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated put out an article where he gave some insight, some intel that he got from people in different organizations and, how they viewed their draft, how they feel, what they feel, kind of led to them making the different picks that they make. And so just kind of going through the different parts of that. Number one, the Chiefs were not looking to trade into the top 5. I know they inquired about it. We heard it. The Cardinals was like a big option for them to potentially trade up to.
Info you get afterwards a lot more accurate than before.
A lot more than that, yeah.
They were, quote, sniffing around for the last few weeks.
Yeah, because we had heard, because Albert Breer had actually put out, which I actually think now the Chiefs were probably using him to kind of smokescreen a little bit.
Oh, they used a few.
Yeah, and I think
Schrags?
He was, Schrags too. Yeah, he was definitely being used as a smokescreen with the tackle thing. Like I said, I think in hindsight, it definitely, I think it was him him basically doing a favor for Brett Veach by putting the tackle thing out there. But yeah, I think that he said that basically 29 and 40 they were off limits as far as being used for a trade.
Off limit. The way they looked at it, the way they looked at the board, their analytics people, they went high analytics on it.
They did. That was the reason why they figured they had to trade ahead of the Saints, was because of analytics.
It's basically meant they weren't getting into the top 5. The Chiefs saw 4 players completely out. They said completely out. Dave Mendoza, that was clearly out. We know that.
Yeah, we know
But
that.
they had Love Reese and David Bailey complete out too, because they thought they were going to be taken.
Yeah.
So clearly that would have had to been a trade up for one of those guys. So then it became more and more clear that's the direction they went. But they also said if they sat there at 9, a Caleb Downs, they felt that Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson could fall to them.
Yeah.
That those would be players that were viable, that they had going in the top 10. They truly felt that it would have been one of those two guys, Caleb Downs or Jordan Tyson. But then they thought if they do take one of those guys, which I would have been okay with either of them, to be honest with you. I would 100% okay with either one of them.
Yeah, I'd be fine with either.
They would have had to made a deal to trade up for Chris Johnson, which Chris Johnson's one of our favorite corners in the draft. I 100% love Chris Johnson from San Diego State. I actually would have been okay with option B. But here's the thing. In the scary part for where the Chiefs, were sitting there in the field to trade up, 1A they had was Delane. 1B, Jermod McCoy. They had him really high, but then, of course, the medicals with the knee situation, why he fell all the way to the Raiders in the 4th. So they're thinking, okay, you take him out of the equation because they weren't going to draft him, and then nobody else was either in the first round. So now they're saying maybe a team's getting desperate for cornerback. If teams are looking at this and think, well, if we like the McCoy, Delane's their only guy, because it was clear amongst NFL teams. It wasn't like Most teams had Delane as the best corner. I mean, you wouldn't find people not really having Delane.
I think there were some teams that before the knee situation had Jermod McCoy as the number one.
It was either going to be one or two. One of those two is 1A, 1B.
Because there was a lot of hype for McCoy, a month out. And then once, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago when the knee situation kind of came to light, that was when his stock started to fall. And you started to see him late first, early second on a lot of boards. And, he fell all the way to the first pick of round 4.
That's why this thing is not dead set where you say, we're going in defense, because there clearly was an option there if they went the completely other direction by having to trade up for Chris Johnson and getting a Jordan Tyson or Caleb Downs.
Yeah, and my thing is I think they just looked at it and they thought there was a very clear divide between Delane and Johnson. And I could understand why. Because I think that, from a man coverage standpoint, I think Delane is better.
And they thought they'd have to give up a third or a fourth for trading up for Johnson.
Maybe. Very possible they could have, depending on what the compensation was.
He wasn't going to fold to 29, so they might have to do something.
Yeah, possibly. Very possible that could have happened there. But they thought that, hey, Delane is much better, so let's just go get the guy that we like more. And, that's what they did. Another interesting piece from that was about Peter Woods, the defensive tackle they took out of Clemson at pick 29. And they were very high on Clemson. I mean, on Peter Woods. You could just tell based on the call that they made to him when Veach called him and said, hey, you were our guy from day one. So you kind of believe it based on.
By day one, you're talking that last season.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
This was a guy, and I think a lot of guys in this class were guys that they put on their radar in 24, and then they saw them, advance the next year.
They started watching Delane when he was at Virginia Tech.
Which was in 24, and then he transferred to LSU, and, he had the year that he had. He was good at Virginia Tech, but, he took a major step forward at LSU.
Put it away, he could have gone pro a year before.
Yeah.
He would have been probably a third-round pick.
Yeah, he would not have been a first-round pick, but he took a major step forward in his year at LSU, so... But yeah, they thought very highly of Peter Woods, and they basically said, hey, we think that your regression last year was because of the system, because of changes in responsibilities, and so we're not going to put that on you, which, we've talked about this many times over this past weekend. I think there's something to that because everybody there except for Blake Miller saw their draft stock drop pretty major.
They had 9 freaking guys drafted, and all of them took a step back except for Blake Miller.
Except for Blake Miller's the only one. He went all the way up to.
He was the one behind these guys. He was behind Klubnik, Woods, and T.J. Parker as far as guys in the pecking order for the draft.
Yeah, I mean, because going into the year, he was probably day 2, day 3 guy. And Peter Woods was considered a top 5 pick. T.J. Parker was top 5, was top 10, maybe top 5.
He was being mocked top 3 before the season even started. Peter Woods.
Yeah. Like I said, he was top
even
5.
number 2 with a lot of people after the first pick.
And then Klubnik was a guy that we talked about before the season as a potential dark horse first-round quarterback. Antonio Williams was considered late first round on a lot of boards. He fell all the way to the 3rd round. And, Avion Terrell was a guy that was considered the top corner in the class at the beginning of the year. And he fell all the way to the 3rd round.
Clemson fall.
I mean, so I do think there's something there, and I think that Dabo Swinney and his coaching staff are going to have to answer a lot of questions because
about a playoff team 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Playoff team in 24. In 25, you regress, and now you lose many of your best players. You don't do the portal very well. Your recruiting has dropped considerably from what it used to be. They used to be perennial top 5 teams, many times top 2 or 3.
This is how good they were. Ohio State led the way with 11 picks. Alabama second with 10. Number 3. Or A&M had 10 too. My bad. A&M had 2. But Clemson and Miami and Texas Tech all had 9.
Yeah, so you had many years you were recruiting top 2, top 3. Now you're just barely inside the top 15, sometimes in the top 20. Sometimes you're dropping just to the top 20. So they are not recruiting as well as they used to. They don't use the portal that well, and their team's kind of suffered for it. And they're no longer the the beasts that they were years ago, back when you had that nice little run in the mid to late 2010s where you were competing for championships. And so I think there is something to that. And then, another piece of intel there was they really liked R. Mason Thomas. That was another guy they scouted, all the way back in 24. And they kind of view him as that bookend to Karlaftis.
And a guy that saw him every day in practice and camp, even though on different sides of the ball, and DeMarco Murray.
Yeah. So they're definitely thinking about, hey, we're going to use him as a kind of way to help support Karlaftis, but at the same time, you've invested pretty heavy in your pass rush on the interior as well the last couple of years, getting Omar Norman-Lott in the second round last year, and then in the first round of this year, you get Peter Woods. So,
how is Tennessee not better? Look at that.
Well, it's because they run rotations.
Oh,
they don't. They're like basically almost all their position groups are rotations instead of just playing the best players every single down. That's the reason why.
Text line says they give him an A. Here's the one thing: grades are fun with the draft, but it's like giving yourself a grade before you took the class. You don't know. Again, Mahomes in his class, that was like a C+ class is what people gave it. Again,
because it wasn't a good class.
Grades
you
draft,
were pissed with that class.
Grades.
I remember after day 2, you were mad about the Tano
It is so
pick.
hard to give a grade to a class. It's fun to do. We all do it, just like wins and losses when the schedule comes out. But it all changes.
Our grades don't really matter. We're just doing it for fun. So coming up next, the Chiefs VP of Player Personnel, Ryan Nutt, he did a press conference this morning, and I think it was a gold mine for information about the various prospects. We'll play cuts from that next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC. There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Think about this. At some point, you stopped calling it pain and started calling it just how I am now. You started mapping out routes to avoid stairs or looking for the closest chair before you even enter the room. And that's not okay. And deep down, you know it. I want to see you get back to being you, the active, carefree version that doesn't think twice about a round of golf or a morning run. I've seen what QC Kinetics can do, and their regenerative treatments are the real deal. They're helping people right here in KC find long-lasting relief from arthritis and old injuries. We're talking about your knees, shoulders, and lower back, recovered without surgery or months in a recliner. The science is real, the treatments are natural, and your body actually knows how to heal. QC Kinetics just gives it the right tools to do it. So don't wait. Get that free consultation today. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone, 816-412-6299. It's QC Kinetics.
DQ presents The $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new Honey Sriracha Dip. The DQ $7 meal deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
In digital advertising, everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your bottom line. Our AI-driven technology looks past the noise to find the customers most likely to buy your product. It's smarter, faster, and designed for real-world results. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Earlier this morning, the Chiefs VP of Player Personnel, Ryan Nutt, he sat down with the media and did a press conference over Zoom, just kind of going through the picks, answering questions that the media had about how they handled the draft. And he started out talking about R. Mason Thomas and you know, how that pick, along with Peter Woods, was going to help push that pass rush forward.
So that was obviously an area where we knew we had to improve. And we kind of got stuck on the field there this past year on third down. So when the opportunity presented itself with those guys, you know, becoming the best players on the board at the time, we jumped on it, right? So for Peter, he's explosive off the ball. And, you know, you guys bring up the arm length, him and R. Mason. When you're explosive off the ball and you can reduce the space between you and an interior offensive lineman or a tackle, it gives you an advantage now. Both play low. They have really good pad leverage. They're really fast off the ball, and they're explosive. So primarily they're speed rush guys, but they have sneaky power where they can keep a tackle or guard or center off balance that allows them to win quickly. So we felt like both were extremely disruptive and both had high motors, and both of those kind of features in a player result to just being disruptive at the NFL level.
Yeah, because they kind of view Peter Woods, you know, as that guy for that defensive line, but they, you know, truly believe they'll generate some pass rush out of Peter Woods as well.
Yeah, that was kind of his calling card. He is a great run defender.
Yeah.
And I think he can be an immediate impact run defender because
0 technique, 3 technique, you'll see him around.
I mean, his best is going to be at 3, but like you watch him defend the run, like he looks like he teleports around the box, getting after the running back. It's incredible how quickly.
Angry.
Yeah. Not only that, he's just so quick. He has great feet. And
he ran a 4.91 over 300 pounds.
Yeah, which is, for those of y'all who don't know, like a 4.91 from a lineman is, especially a defensive tackle, is great.
What was Mahomes, like 4.77?
4.8.
Yeah,
it was a 4.8.
Very close to that. Yeah.
It was not that. I mean, he can outrun Peter Woods, but he ain't dusting him like that.
He's always just fast enough to get away from the guy.
Yeah, that's literally like the greatest way to explain Mahomes' speed is he's just fast enough to avoid getting hit hard.
No matter who it is.
He's the greatest 4.8 runner, I think, in history.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, by far. I think he's like he's the most underrated runner because of his ability to make guys miss in the open field.
Well, it's like every postseason, that's kind of the thing that he he takes out. It's like
some of his biggest plays ever.
Throughout the season, they don't want to run him a lot, and then in the postseason, it's like, okay, here you go, Buffalo. Now Mahomes is going to run.
But I do think Peter Woods and R. Mason Thomas both made that those two guys I think are definitely going to add a new dimension there because Peter Woods and Nutt said there that Peter Woods has got sneaky power. I don't think he has sneaky power. I think it's very obvious when you watch the tape that he can win with power. But he also has a great first step. And when he does decide to go speed on the interior, as long as he uses his hands properly, he can win very quickly. So I like that pick. Another thing that Ryan Nutt addressed was the effect that NIL has on the NFL draft.
It's not a bad thing that they're staying in college, right? It gives them more time to develop, more time to mature. But what we see is maybe they come out of college with more injuries or just more wear and tear, more load. What's happening is, some of these players are making business decisions. They're deciding that staying in college for one more year is better than going to the NFL and possibly having a low draft stock. Now they do all their homework, and the schools do a really good job of reaching out and giving these kids an idea of where they're going to go. So they take all that information into consideration, and off of that, we don't care what they do. None of us pressure any of these players to leave or stay. It's what's in their best interest, and some of those guys, it is in their best interest to stay, and some of them maybe they should have left. But either way, when you're getting paid that kind of money, I can see where it's tough for these kids to make those decisions.
You and I have talked about this throughout the character concerns because it has changed the draft. There's no other way to look at this name, image, and likeness. This is one of the byproducts of NIL. Even the Netflix series, I don't know if you ever saw it, the SEC one, the behind the scenes with the SEC.
I've only seen the first episode
One
or
episode
two
was
of
interesting.
it.
Brian Kelly was in a car. He was talking about Garrett Nussmeier. He was talking to his agent. And he's like, well, if he goes pro or probably look at a third round, he could make, a couple $1 million here at LSU would probably be better than him. And Brian Kelly was 100% right because he made more money at LSU than what he's going to be making in the NFL this year. But it's changed the game. Mark Fletcher, the great running back at Miami, he falls in that category of, sometimes you'd rather see him come out than the wear and tear on their body. Like a running back, you don't necessarily want to see him go back to college. You get a couple hundred carries. You don't want to see that. But guys like quarterbacks, they like to have 30, games under their belts as stars. But this is changing because now those mid-round picks are staying in school and picking up the money before jumping to the NFL. They could make that decision, but the name, image, likeness is coming in, and it's changing it. Again, the Kansas City Chiefs took 25 guys off their board. There's an extra 25 guys they pulled off because they went back to school. It's totally changed things. These teams are scouting players and like it and put them on their board. Then all of a sudden they're making the decision to go back to school. So it does make a difference. Ryan Nagy, he ran the Senior Bowl. He left it this year. He was the general manager now for Oklahoma football, and he did a great job at the Senior Bowl, but he had a hard time filling out the roster because of all the guys making that decision to go back to school. So he's like, enough's enough. So he jumped to Oklahoma, and he always did a great job with the Senior Bowl. But that's how much it's changing.
Yeah, there's a guy named Andrew Brandt. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with.
Yeah, he used to be on ESPN.
Yeah, he used to be in the Packers front office too back in the day. And he said he had people tell him last year, like rounds 6 through 7 are way different now because of NIL. And then he said this year he got told rounds 4 through 7 were different. So it's just really changing. And, it is like what a good 5th-round pick used to be, what it is now is so different because of guys wanting to come back because they're getting compensation to play in college.
Yeah, we talked, we brought that up on our day 3 coverage think about every one of these round values. Each one of these players is probably a value around later than they would be because of how many people decided to go back to school.
And the age thing. You got guys coming out 25 years old now.
Keem Mesidor.
They get that because that extra year of eligibility.
Grown-ass man playing in college.
San Francisco, even going back to like 19 and 18, they would draft a player essentially to put a red shirt on them. But there's no such thing as that in the NFL now. It's going back to college where teams would take a guy. So it does come to your advantage at points. The guys are more ready to play. But there's certain instances where it doesn't help at all.
So I do want to play one more. The quote on about Emmett Johnson and basically like their their interest level in him, what they think of him. He was my favorite pick of the entire draft for the Chiefs just because of the value you got him at and because he was my number 2 running back in this class. Let's hear what Ryan Nutt had to say about it.
Yeah, it's funny about Emmett because in December, we all come together and we watch usually defensive backs, and Brett will pick one or two other positions, and he picked running backs this year to kind of watch. And we went through the running backs, and Emmett was one of the top guys we watched. We loved them. Brett, Brett was super high on this kid. We all are really high on this kid. He's a juke button, right? He's got very good feet, vision, feel, and he's very good out of the backfield. I think the combine 40, I think he ran like a 4.56 or something. That might have scared people away, but then he ran a 4.49 on his pro day. So, and then he ran I think a 4.49, like a 4.50, something like that. So he showed on 2 reps that he can match the same speed. I don't know why he fell. We were shocked he fell, and that's why we took him, honestly, in the 5th round, and that's why Brett decided to trade up to get him, because of the conviction we had in the talent, and because we knew that was probably lower than he should have went. But we're happy to have the kid for sure.
The Chiefs studied a lot of running backs this year, but clearly I do feel making that move for Kenneth Walker was 1A for the Kansas City Chiefs to not be totally satisfied with what they'd have in the draft. Good pieces in the draft, but that's why they went out and got Walker.
Yeah, I really like I said, this was my favorite pick of the draft just because the value, because I think very highly of Emmett Johnson. This was a guy that we mocked to the Chiefs. I think I had the selection, and I took him in round 3. We did it.
We had him like twice.
We did it twice because we did it on. We did it on the. I think it was mock 1.0, and I know we did them on the 3-round mock.
We backed off when they signed Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, when they signed Kenneth Walker, just because of that, and DeMarcado, because at that point you already had 3 running backs, so like, I'm not keeping a 4th one. And we'll see. Maybe they do decide to keep 4, maybe they don't, and they cut one. But Emmett Johnson to me was just like, that was my dude. That was the guy I really wanted. And I was very happy with that pick. So we need to hit a break. But coming up next, we do have some more clips from that interview, from that press conference with Ryan Nutt. We'll play that coming up next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boost, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boost. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, lock in bigger value with MLB odds boost tokens and MLB parlay boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLERS. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Hello?
Hey, sis. Got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Ellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Rob Side Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Rob Side Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Continuing to hear clips from VP of Player Personnel for the Chiefs, Ryan Nutt, in his press conference from earlier this morning. He did speak. He was asked about the Chiefs slotting picks, basically deciding ahead of time we're going to take this player. This point, what is that? Why is that happening? That's twice now. What, are you doing something, Jackson?
No, it's coming through on where you guys normally play the clips.
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you doing something, Bing?
No, everything's turned off.
I don't know.
What are you doing, Bing?
Just double checking.
Okay, so I do want to play the cut about them, about whether or not they were slotting picks and basically deciding ahead of time where they're going to take players in each spot.
I thought this was one of the most interesting things he said today.
This was a weird year. This was a weird draft because we felt like once we made the trade, we didn't have a third round pick. And we felt like the draft kind of slid a little bit after the third round in terms of the entire talent pool, not the guys we got, but like some of the talent pool. So kind of all bets were off. In the second round, there was a lot of surprising bets. So we didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I can't sit here and think everything was going to fall off. The first two rounds, a lot of the players kind of came off, but there were some surprise picks too. Do we think we're going to get Robert Woods at 29? I don't think so. Do we think we're going to get Emmett Johnson in the fifth round? I don't think so. Jaden Kennedy maybe in the fourth, where we picked him, probably not. There were some surprises, but just like any other draft, you just have to adjust, right? And kind of just pick the best player, and that's what we did.
I do like the way he started.
This was a weird year.
It's a weird draft.
And then he also
says it all right there.
And then he also he was asked about the defensive focus for the draft, if that was intentional, or if that just how the board rolled out.
And as far as the if that was the total plan.
Yeah, so I think the focus from a lot of people is, hey, they want defense their first four picks. outside of the corner being the first pick, Brett just let the board fall as it was. So it wasn't this huge philosophy of, hey, we're going to go into this draft and just get a bunch of defensive players. It just happened that those were the best players on our board, and they did address needs that we had. So, it was kind of the perfect marriage, in some, so to speak, that those guys that fell back or that were still left were guys that we coveted, and it was a position in need.
Wasn't high on the post 3 rounds or after the third round. Has kind of jumbled up a lot of surprises on what teams did. Weird draft because they tried to figure out what everybody else is going to do too, and that kind of goes out the window when everybody's confused as well on who's valued at what pick. That's why Kalen Black didn't even go to combines, a third round pick, third running back selected in the draft. That was a surprise, I'm sure, to everybody.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of surprises overall. I mean, Dejon Stribling going with the 33rd pick in the draft was a shocker.
Another surprise.
And we'll talk more about that later on in the show. But I definitely think the way that the Chiefs approached it, where they were just taking the players that were, at or near the top of their board at positions of need, I think that's how
they all needed it.
Yeah.
You often hear best player available. It was actually best player available of ones that they needed.
Right, yeah, because like if the quarterback is the best available player on consensus boards or whatever your board is, and you don't need a quarterback, why would you waste that pick? No. Like, that's the reason why, like, the whole just take the best available players, like, that doesn't always work because it's not always a position in need, and it's not always a position that you value in that spot too. It's like, that's the reason why, like, even though like I agree that Caleb Downs was the best player in this draft, it's also like taking a top 10 safety is really hard to justify, even if he's really good.
There's just a couple things that don't make a lot of sense like that, or when a coach says next player up.
Yeah.
Try that with the quarterback. It's not the case.
Yeah. So, that's the first hour of the show. We still have 2 hours left. Coming up next, we'll talk about our favorite draft classes from this year's 2026 NFL draft class.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out, leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do. Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer. Jack got suckered. Make sure you aren't hung out to dry. Call our dad at Rex Buys KC. Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals. No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises. Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process. Now, don't be like Jack. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking those special drops you won't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. Just head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Maybe you want to look at series pricing, and instead of betting an individual game, you want to be able to go and bet overall how many games a particular playoff series is going to go, or who could end up with the most points during that series. You name it, you can check it all out on the FanDuel app and use some of their trends and research tools that are right there in the app. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for primetime, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, From disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen at odyssey.com.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural, drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Second hour of the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan. Our NFL Draft coverage here on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Chris Unosero, Jay Binkley, Jackson Ogden, keeping things rolling along here. And I want to get into what are our favorite classes from this year for teams. Because, this is now the time where we prematurely grade different teams' draft classes and, decide which one we like the best. Now, I don't want to grade based on where Dejon Stribling was taken, at pick 33. I think we just assume he was a second-round pick.
I don't care about that. I just care about the group of players that I really enjoyed watching on one team.
Exactly.
Is to be a best fit. For example, Zion Young, when he went to Baltimore, it was like the perfect situation for him. I want Zion Young, but being an edge there with the Baltimore Ravens, having Hendrickson on the other side, he's going to thrive there.
Speaking of that, the Ravens are one of my favorite draft classes in this year's draft.
That worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, in round one, you get Olaiva Venga-Ioane, and I thought he was the best interior lineman in this class. And, obviously you brought up Zion Young. They got him in early round 2. And, they added Jacoby Lane, which Lane needs to lift some weights because he lacks some play strength and he gets pushed around even though he's pretty tall. But man, if he can figure out if he can get stronger, if he can, kind of be better at the point of contact with when, he's in coverage and whatnot, because he doesn't get open a lot. He's basically one of those guys. It's like Dwayne Bowe. It's like Dwayne Bowe's not open. You just throw him the ball and he goes and gets it. It's kind of like what it is with Jacoby Lane. They got Elijah Surratt, who was at one point the best receiver for Indiana, and then Cooper and Becker overtook him. And then
Becker's been mocked to the Chiefs for next year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's quite their fit at receiver, but I think he's going to be good wherever he goes. And then you have Rayshawn Benny, the defensive tackle from Michigan. I really like the Ravens class. Like this is a class like I look at him like, okay, there's a good foundation there. You got guys on both sides of the line that I like. Two interesting wide receivers you got there. I like Rayshawn Benny as a defensive tackle. I thought he would go a little bit higher than what he did. But, Benny, I think he has a good option to kind of be a little bit of both of a run stopper and a pass rusher.
Same division, a team that I think sneakily had a very, very good draft. And it's weird saying this because I think a couple of the best drafters this year were the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. But the Browns, Spencer Fano Yeah, we don't necessarily like him necessarily a tackle, but he gives them that versatility. He can play guard for them because they do.
He'll play. I think he'll be a good guard too.
But at Cleveland, but then Casey Concepcion, I get it, the drop problem and stuff like that. But then Denzel Boston right there. That slew of picks when they went Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, then Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the safety from Toledo that I love, is one of the top safeties in the draft. And then later, Taylon Green, that's an interesting guy to me. That's just kind of one of those guys that enjoy watching the Arkansas
Taylon Green was interesting,
though speed and just the kind of athlete he is, the size.
My thing is this: how long do you give him as a quarterback before you move him to wide receiver? Because he's not. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback.
And they got your guy Austin Barber out of Florida.
They did. They grabbed him in the latter rounds. I think Barber could be a serviceable, if not good, left tackle in the league. We'll see. We'll see how his development goes. I think he was a 4th round pick for them. But that's my dude, obviously. But I agree with you. I think the Browns did have a good draft, and doubling up on wide receiver. I know you would have loved that if the Chiefs would have done that. But I think they got good value there. Concepcion was an interesting selection there for them, and then to go get Boston in round 2. I agree with you. I do think that was a good class. What about you, Jackson?
Yeah, I was gonna go Browns, but since Bink stole, I'm gonna go Giants. I thought Arvell Reese at 5 was great value. And I know they're fans, and
think about that team though.
They couldn't have expected to get him.
Burns,
right?
But I think they're Thibodeau. They're loaded.
They got 4 pass rushers.
They're loaded. Francis Mauigoa, because he can come in immediately and play guard, and then whenever fit, he'd go play right tackle, and you have Andrew Thomas on the left side, and then Malachi Fields later in the draft. Like him, I really liked Colton Hood at 37. So I thought the Giants had a really good haul. I mean, I think if there's any critique, it's that you didn't get a defensive tackle after trading Dexter Lawrence away, but I thought the Giants crushed it.
Another interesting team I think had a really nice class, the Panthers. I like the Panthers class. You get Monroe Freeling, who's more of a project tackle, but I think
pure left tackle though.
Yeah, he's a pure left tackle, and he's got upside. I think he's one of those guys. Like once he figures it out at the NFL level. I think he's going to be pretty good at left tackle. But besides him, you get Lee Hunter, who was my favorite defensive tackle in this class, just in terms of who I was going to bet was going to be the most sure thing.
Yeah, he and Christian Miller were mine.
Yeah, the two guys I thought had the most upside were Caleb Banks and Peter Woods. But the guys I thought were the safest were Lee Hunter and Christian Miller. I think was another one that was really good. Then they also got Chris Brazzell, your guy out of Tennessee.
6'5" receiver.
They got Will Lee, the Texas A&M corner that we mocked to the Chiefs
several times.
Our last couple mocks. Sam Heck, the center from K-State, who is, I think going to be a very good interior lineman. And then Zakeet Wheatley, the safety from Penn State as well.
I thought the Panthers was a good one. The Eagles, I really like.
Oh, yeah. The Eagles, they just count on them to draft.
I got my favorite player, Mekhi Lemon. And the thing with the Eagles is how everything just kind of falls to them, which is weird. Like Jalen Carter just got his 5th-year option.
Just happened to fall to them.
He was looked upon as the #1 overall player in the draft. Character concerns got him. He ends up going 9 right in Howie Roseman's lap with the Eagles. This year, Mekhi Lemon falls to 20, and they make a move up with the Cowboys to get him because they didn't see him, going that far back. Again, they get him at 20. JSN, I'll remind you, he went 20. Justin Jefferson went 22. So sometimes these elite players go there. Then Eli Stowers, it's a very fun tight end, not a great blocker, but very fun receiving type. Bell on the left side.
You got another one?
One? Saints. I thought the Saints had a really solid. I'm sorry.
Took my next one.
Well, Bink took Cleveland from me, so we're just taking each other's picks.
Imagine it's fighting.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson really, obviously, the injury is the only real downside there. I think we all agree that if he stays healthy, he's going to be Lance later in the draft. I really like just taking a swing there. Christian Miller, I was losing my thoughts there, but I know Bink loves Christian Miller.
Yep.
Getting him in the second, I thought that was a great pick for them. So I thought New Orleans really had a nice draft, and it feels weird. We're talking nice about the NFC South right now because the division's been so terrible.
They also grabbed Oscar Delp, the tight end out of Georgia as well. And, that's they took a lot of guys with a lot of upside in this class because, Delp has upside to be a great tight end just from the physical attributes.
Certain mock Delp.
He just needs someone. He just needs some molding there, and he needs to develop the actual skill. But he has the talent to be a good tight end in the league. You brought up Bryce Lance. I think Bryce Lance is another one who has potential to be a really, really good wide receiver. It's just a matter of he played at North Dakota State. He didn't play the highest of competition.
The better of the Lance brothers.
Yeah, so it's we hope so. So that's
it's not going to take much.
There's some real Christian Watson feel to Bryce Lance too.
Yeah,
other than obviously them going to the same school.
Yeah.
There's physically there's
a huge Christian Watson fan.
Yeah, and Christian's obviously struggled to stay on the field, but there's some real similarities there outside of just North Dakota State. So I thought Bryce was a solid
big,
pickup.
fast, good explosiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, he's definitely.
I like that they got Shuck some weapons. Give him a shot. Whereas Miami basically told Malik Willis, good luck.
Well, because Miami's tanking.
Yeah, but the Saints are especially Kellen Moore getting those guys. I trust him. I think he's one of the brighter young offensive minds in the NFL, and you could see Philly really hurt not having him last year. I really liked what New Orleans did there.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with you on that. I think that it wasn't like they just every pick they hit on, taking Mansour Delane if he was there at 8. And that obviously didn't happen, but you get I think the top receiver in this class and Jordan Tyson, and then your guy Christian Miller, he's got major upside as an interior pass rusher. I think decent upside as a pass rusher, but certainly as a run defender, he's going to dominate as a run defender. I think he's going to be incredible on the inside as a run defender. But he does have upside as a pass rusher, and we'll see how he goes. He's definitely their kind of guy because basically they just like to copy what the Chiefs do, and so he's more of a power-based guy, and he'll fit in exactly what they're looking for. Any other classes you like?
Yeah, there is. I actually really like the Jets, to be honest with you. Matter of fact, I would say the Jets had the best first four picks of any team in the NFL. See if you agree. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr., then D'Angelo Ponds. I like all four of those players right there for the Jets. It kind of drops off there with Darrell Jackson next for him. Of course, Cade Klubnik, part of that class too. Not counting any of these. And VJ Payne from Kansas State there. But those first four picks, I can see all those guys as extreme contributors for that team.
I mean, if you would have done Mock Draft Simulator and you would have picked all four of those guys, you would get an A+ on there.
I mean, with Omar Cooper Jr., that I really like a wide receiver, and D'Angelo Ponds, very good, undersized corner, but then having Sadiq and Bailey thrown in there, come on. The Jets did a great job.
Yeah, I think they don't have a quarterback. So they're going to have to figure that part out.
That part hurts.
And I also think Aaron Glenn is basically a dead man walking out there.
What do you think, Cade Klubnik's chopped liver?
Yeah, he's trash.
Brady Cook's going to save him.
No, nobody's saving that team. They're going to try to tank this year, and then hopefully they can get Arch or Dante next year.
Oh, yeah, next year, the quarterback class, Jets.
There's going to be at least two teams tanking.
Jets are 100%.
The Jets and Dolphins are both going to be tanking.
And it's hard to tank with a lot of that talent they have around them because those guys.
Well, those guys might
players.
not pop out this year though. It might take them a year to pop off. The Dolphins don't have any players on their team, so they just have Chris Johnson and that's it. So yeah, they're definitely going to be tanking this coming season. And so you got a few other teams you got to think about are probably going to try to tank for some of those other quarterbacks there. Or maybe you see one of these teams try to trade up. It would have been good is if the Rams were, instead of drafting Ty Simpson, they just trade up next year in a better quarterback class and not have to draft Ty Simpson. Seems like a good idea. Coming up next, we'll tell you what our least favorite classes are in the 2026 draft.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, a meal deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. Cause 30 told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Deldon, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER. You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
So last segment, we talked about our favorite draft classes of this 2026 rookie class. Now let's talk about our least favorite draft classes. And I'll start with the Arizona Cardinals. And it really is just two picks that kind of did it for me. One, taking a running back top 5. I understand Jeremiah Love is a special player. Running back to me is just hard to justify taking top 5. Like, even if he ends up being a great running back on a bad football team doesn't win you a ton of games by himself. And
ask Ashton Genty how that works out.
Yeah.
They picked first in He's first-round running back. They picked first the next
so I'm saying they were the worst team in the NFL last year. Bijan Robinson's never played in the playoffs.
He's been a top 3 running back since he started.
Because
They had a losing record every year.
Never played in the playoffs.
They had him and Algier, both of them.
It's very rare where you see an Ezekiel Elliott where they come in the team's 13-3. That's very rare for a guy taking that high.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like it just doesn't translate over.
Only 4 of the top 10 running backs in the NFL this year actually made the playoffs.
Yeah, like the Giants didn't become a playoff team until they got a mediocre quarterback in Daniel Jones, and he had the season of his life, and they got to the playoffs.
Yeah, there's one thing proven. You may have a great running back, but doesn't guarantee you anything. Bijan Robinson, like you said, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and they had Algier in that backfield too. It was a great backfield. Again, 4 of the top 10 leading rushers in the NFL did not make the postseason.
You go back. Look at Barry Sanders. They never won anything. And
he
was
awesome.
Everything
they
else.
had 1 year where they were really good. I think they had 1 year where they were 12-4. I think it was like 91, 92.
Running back is a nice piece to have, but you better have a damn quarterback.
Yeah. Or like just there's other positions besides quarterback. Like you could have taken Arvell Reese there. You know, you could have taken Carnell Tate there if you really liked him. Could have taken Mansour Delane. Could have taken Caleb Downs. There's so many players at more important positions than running back that you could have taken. And then you could have gone running back later or gone a different position later. I mean, to me, it didn't make a lot of sense to go. And you could clearly tell that they didn't want to take him.
They wanted to trade out.
They wanted to trade out. And they were putting out there that, because I think that they were the ones, I think them and the Chiefs are both kind of leaking out the Chiefs might be trading up to 3, which we obviously know the Chiefs had no interest in doing. But, I mean, I think for sure the Cardinals are doing everything they can to let people know, hey, come take this from us. We don't want this. We don't want to have to take Jeremiah Love. And it just didn't work out, so they ended up having to take him. And then, you know, you see what they are. And then also at the top of round 3, they take Carson Beck. And
yuck.
That's a gross pick.
It also shows you with the Jeremiah Love situation, had the Chiefs not have been able to get Kenneth Walker.
Right.
What the temptation would be to trade up, because I can't see the Chiefs trading up for running back.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why they opted to just go take to get Kenneth
he's
Walker.
not going to be there, but I mean, I can see the Chiefs
Well, the
trading
thing
up,
is,
they
if
clearly
they-
did,
if
but
they
I can't
re-
see him doing it for a running back.
If they had enough conviction, they would have. But that's the problem, is they didn't have enough because they don't. Because I think one of the things we could tell based on what Ryan Nutt said in that interview, and also I think what we heard from the scouts as well on Saturday after the end of the draft. I just don't think that Veach and his staff value running back that much, because they waited until round 5 and they were like, fine, we'll take him at Johnson, because there's so many other positions.
They didn't get a first round.
Yeah,
but they would have had to pay a king's ransom to move up for 3 for Jeremiah Love.
Right.
Had they not get Kenneth Walker, whole different situation. Then all of a sudden you're talking Emmett Johnson and more, maybe a Kalen Black, somebody else besides just Emmett Johnson.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it depends on what they
probably spent a second or third rounder on a running back.
We say that, but they didn't do it last year. Like when they really needed a running back.
We waited until the 7th round for that.
That's what I'm saying. So like I don't think it's safe to assume that they would have done it this year if they didn't get Kenneth Walker. They might have just done the same thing.
It was earmarked because even then that clip there with Ryan Nutt saying the Chiefs were watching running backs the whole year for
Right. But they also, that doesn't mean that they would have used the second-day pick on it. Like, because again, last year we thought they needed to use a second-day pick on running back, and they didn't.
You only had 3 running backs drafted in the first 3 rounds. That's never happened.
Right, yeah, because it's a weak running back. It was a weak running back class. But, you know, in that point, it's like, running back was a position that I don't think the Chiefs were going to take there. But, yeah, Carson Beck going the first pick of the 3rd round, and the rest of your draft is just very meh. Like, not really that exciting, and nothing blew me away there. And, yeah, you end up taking – and Carson Beck, I don't think he's going to be in the NFL for very long. So, like, that's your 3rd round pick when you have a lot of other talented players out there. You know, Ted Hurst is still on the board, a lot of other players, and that's where you go. Who's yours?
My worst class was actually settled on the opening night of the
draft.
I
know what this
I had to wait for the whole thing.
I know
it
what
was settled on day 1. Los Angeles Rams stand up. You're so close, so close to the Super Bowl. You think, the draft give you those pieces, just that little extra oomph that you needed to beat the Seahawks there in the NFC title game. Starting off with Ty Simpson, the guy that won't even play next year. You have the reigning MVP as your starting quarterback in Matt Stafford this year. Probably this would be last year for Matt Stafford, but it's Ty Simpson. Couldn't you just wait for that 27 draft class with all those quarterbacks? Round 2, Max Clare, like me as tight end, but round 2 for Max Clare, considering the situation when you're loaded with Higbee and all these other tight ends, it's one thing the Rams aren't short on is tight ends. Colby Parkinson is there. Davis Allen's there at tight end. I mean, that is a team that
did need a tight end.
That is not a huge need for him. In round 3, hey, like he's a Missouri Tiger, but Kagan Trost. I mean, they're talking about him moving to the inside now because it's outside to the inside. Not 100% sure where he's going to be. C.J. Daniels from Miami. Okay, no. And then Tim Keenan in the 7th round. It didn't matter. It's from Alabama. But that was 5 picks that don't help this team at all for 2026. A team still with the reigning MVP probably for one more year. This was their year to kick that door down. Well, they've already, of course, won a Super Bowl. But getting back and doing it again, this is not the draft class to do it with.
Yeah, it was the Ty Simpson pick. I laughed when it came across. So we had to sit there and wait because if you remember on Thursday night, the draft was moving way too quick for the broadcast. Like we were getting picks that were 2 picks away being tipped because of how slow the broadcast was going versus how quickly the picks were coming in. It was really, and the trades were happening real quick. And, like we had talked about this, was it the night before? We had talked about the Jets and the Cards trying to potentially trade back into the first round. Or no, it was Ty Simpson's camp trying to convince the Jets and the Cardinals to trade back into the late first round to
Remember I said if he's there and people really fall in love with Ty Simpson at 9, could the Chiefs actually trade on it?
Well, it wouldn't have been 9. It would have been
very close.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been like but that wasn't a trade up situation.
But
that was
a draft that does that for help a team that was so close to making the Super Bowl.
It was just the weird. It wasn't even that part. It was just like, why would you use that pick on him?
I mean, Max Clare in the 2nd when you're sitting there with Higbee and Parkinson.
I have a bit of a scorching hot take here.
Okay.
I could have justified the Cardinals taking Simpson at 3 more than I could have the Rams at 13.
How?
Bart Simpson or Ty Simpson?
Ty Simpson, dude. Because, look, if you wanted the franchise quarterback, Jeremiah Love's not getting you there. If you actually believed in Ty Simpson, take him. The Rams don't need him. The Cardinals do need a quarterback.
Yeah, but the Cardinals didn't believe in him. Like,
if that's the truth,
I don't think anybody believed in him except for the Rams.
No, what the Cardinals need is the 2027.
That's what they need. Like,
if you need that,
because my thing is this: is like if you watch Simpson's tape and you compare it to the end of Arch Manning's 25 season. It's not even close.
It's not close.
Not even close. Like Arch Manning, and I was talking about this with Bink. Was it Saturday or yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Arch Manning would have been the top quarterback in this class if he would have entered the draft. Like at the beginning of the year, we gave him crap because he looked awful against Ohio State. And like the first few weeks, he did not look good. Like he didn't look good in the Florida game. There was a lot of issues with his game. But the second half of the season, it was like him and Ty Simpson like flipped their performances because Ty Simpson was really good in the first half, and then he was awful in the second half. And it was like the opposite for Arch. Awful in the first half, and in the second half, he was probably the best quarterback in college football. It was him or Dante Moore were like the best in college football.
That Cardinals quarterback room. Jacoby Brissett, the starter. Gardner Minshew. Carson Beck.
Man.
I wasn't trying to say that taking Ty Simpson at 3 would be smart. I'm just
saying
fit
right in there with that.
It made no sense for the Rams
Gardner,
to do
they
it.
actually paid Gardner.
Yeah, it made absolutely no sense for the Rams to take him.
They paid Gardner, but
it was more of the Rams messed up statement more than the
Cardinals.
The
Rams. And it was weird because like you could have traded back and still got him way later. Because I don't think like maybe the Cardinals or the Jets move back in late first and take him. But in all likelihood, they probably just stay where they are and try to take because like Ty Simpson was just such a flawed prospect going into it would be really hard to justify him going in round 1, and the Rams found some justification.
As far as the Cardinals, Minshew got that 1-year deal for $8 million, but Jacoby Brissett will be that starter right now.
Yeah.
Another reason, Jacoby Brissett's a starter. So.
Yeah, I assume he's the starter, yeah.
Gardner Minshew is a highly paid backup.
Yeah. Who's your least favorite class?
I'm surprised you guys didn't take a couple of them, but I had one ready, and I'm going to say it anyway.
Let me guess. Jaguars.
No. I thought one of you would take it.
Why did you say – you only said that because he said it before we came on the air. Come on. Let him say it.
Because he's not 100% right.
I thought one of you two would take it, so I didn't. I'm going to go Bears, and I know people aren't going to think this is a great take, but here's my biggest problem with their draft. They need edge rush so bad. and they just completely ignored it. Now, taking Thieneman in the first, cool. You did need safety as well. Taking Logan James in the second, you needed a center. My problem with their draft really started when you took Sam Roush in the third, when you already got Loveland.
That was a weird pick.
Kmet.
That was a weird pick.
And then in the fourth, or late third, excuse me, Xavier Thomas at 89?
Yeah, that was another one. That was another one I was like, really? Xavier?
Did you know this is the first year the Bears haven't taken an offensive player in the first round since 2018?
That's right. We talked about that before the draft. Yeah, but yeah, to me it was just very peculiar because they obviously needed pass rush outside of Montez Sweat, who Montez Sweat is not in his peak anymore. They need it badly. And they are in a division where you've got to get after Goff, you've got to get after Jordan Love.
They're a team taking steps.
And to me, it was just like they completely ignored it, and then they took players that I thought, like Sam Roush, really in the third. You didn't really need tight end that bad. And then, of course, Xavier Thomas for me was just like, how are you taking this guy over an edge at this point in the draft? It made no sense to me.
Or other receivers that were on the board still. Because I was not, first off, I was higher on Aaron Anderson than I was on Xavier Thomas.
Xavier Thomas was barely on my draft board.
He was. Xavier Thomas, I thought he was going to go maybe 7th round.
I thought like a priority undrafted free agent. That's what I had with him.
That was another option too. Is he could be a priority on UDFA. It was just a weird move there. Roush, I think a lot of teams reached on tight ends, 100%. before Big tried to spoil your least favorite draft class over here. Like the Jags also had a really bad class
it was
too.
horrible.
It's like that Borkercher. A guy I had never heard of. I have no idea who that dude
last year.
is. No idea who that guy is, and they took him in round 2 with their top pick because they obviously did. Because they already started off in a bad way with this draft class because of the Travis Hunter trade, which they're already screwing up because they moved him to DB. They're going to play him primarily a DB this year instead of receiver, which makes no sense to me.
Well, you mentioned that. What about Marlon Klein? The tight end.
Yeah, that's another one.
Taken the second round.
You took two tight ends.
He's a second-round tight end. Barely put up any numbers, and he goes, the Texans had a trash draft, too.
Oh, no. Was that Klein was Texans, or was he? Yeah, Klein. Yeah, Klein was weird. Klein, because there was a whole lot of tight ends that got taken that didn't produce very much.
You know who didn't get taken? Texas drafted Woodaz, too.
Yo, but didn't get taken was Michael Trigg.
Michael Trigg didn't get taken.
Trigg, who was actually productive.
He was the only guy on my top 100 that didn't get taken.
Oh, yeah, I know you were mad about that.
I was so mad.
I know you were sitting there on day 3. You were sitting there please, Michael, come on so I can complete my top 100.
Get drafted. I've gotten to 99 and 98 so many times, and I thought once Trigg was the last one on the board this year, I was like, I finally did it. And nope, undrafted to the Cowboys.
Maybe next year you'll be able to complete that top 100.
He had a host of character concerns.
I don't mind, going against the grain and having a different top 100, like a different consensus than, what other people have.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
I really don't. But I was a little salty. I was like, Trigg didn't even get drafted?
I do want to talk about the consensus, the issue with the consensus draft board in the next hour. But coming up next, the scouts for the Chiefs, they did their press conference on Saturday after the end of the draft, and they did talk pretty extensively about one Jaden Kennedy, the slot corner nickelback that they took out of Oregon, a guy that we mocked on our final mock draft before the draft. So we'll hear what they think about him coming up next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and you know baseball's back. BetMGM, the official partner of Major League Baseball, is bringing the high heat all season long. All season long, you can log into the BetMGM app and receive top-tier promos that put you in the batter's box and up the excitement for America's pastime. Step up to the plate all season with Swing for the Fences, the free-to-play game where every swing could score you rewards. We're talking parlay boost tokens, odds boost tokens, same-game parlay boosts, and even bonus spins all season long. And the action doesn't stop there. Get more out of every at-bat and every inning with MLB same-game parlay boosts. Stack your picks and boost your potential payout. Plus, Lock in bigger value with MLB Odds Boost tokens and MLB Parlay Boost tokens all season long. More boosts, more swings, more chances to win. Download the BetMGM app and step up to the plate today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
What's up, fools? Main event Jey Uso here from the WWE. When it's just me between matches, it's day one-ish. And that means it's Chumba time. With hundreds of casino-style games and new titles arriving weekly, there's always something fresh to try at Chumba Casino. The daily boosts make it even more fun. And have me about to get them all during my downtime. Ready for a fun way to chill out and enjoy a few minutes for yourself? Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T's and C's. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
So Saturday at late afternoon, early evening, this is one of our favorite parts of the NFL draft is once it's done, the Chiefs bring on sets of scouts who were like the main scouts for the players that they ended up drafting.
Day 3, man, after each pick.
Yeah, it's all. I love this part. This is the nerdy stuff that we get into that I know like a lot of the more casual draft fans are not really that into. But obviously, if you're listening to this, you probably are one of the more nerdy draft types like we are. But they bring the scouts on, and they do a press conference, and basically they're just asked about, hey, this player, and actually I think they do it right after the pick.
It's right after the pick they do it, but this is much different than a Veach or a Bradway or a Ryan Nutt talking
it's
about.
Them because obviously like with Veach and Bradway and all them, when they're doing their video review, when they're doing their scouting, like it's after the scouts, like the lower end scouts have passed that tape along
These are
up
dudes
the
with
chain.
a stopwatch up at the press box.
These are the ones that because I've seen this before. I remember, I think it was. What is it? I think it was 2015. I went to as press for a Mizzou Florida game. I went
think
there.
I was there with you.
No, you weren't there.
Oh, wasn't there with
No, you weren't there. You were gonna go, but you ended up not being able to go. But I went there for it was Mizzou, Florida, and I saw a Tampa Bay Buccaneers scout there, which they ended up taking Vernon Hargraves the next year in that draft. But I remember seeing it, I was like, I wonder if that's Hargraves.
Yeah, Dorsey used to go to those Mizzou games all the time.
Yeah. So
you rarely see GMs there, but
right. Yeah. Generally, you're going to see like some sort of regional scout for a team.
One time I saw John there. The minute he was leaving the game early to go up to Iowa State. Like he was literally there.
He was out here doing the legwork there. But I always loved this part of it, just hearing the scouts talk about what intrigued them about the player. And it's not just like on the field too, it's also like personality wise. So it's always really interesting here.
They will talk to their parents, they'll talk to everybody.
Everyone around the program, they get as much info as they can. But here are the scouts talking about 4th round pick for the Chiefs, Jaden Kennedy.
Yeah, so we're here with pick 109. We took Jaden Kennedy, the nickel from Oregon. I think first and foremost, you have to give kudos to Coach Lanning and Marshall Malco for what they've done at Oregon and the development they've done with all their players. I mean, we took Jeff Bossa last year, so they've done a tremendous job. As far as Jaden's concerned, I mean, he's a uber competitive nickel corner. And at the same time, I think the most important thing is he also provides special teams value. This guy has been a productive gunner everywhere he's been. So just from a nickel standpoint, he'll compete for that role. And then in addition to that, like this guy's a feisty competitor. So with that, any questions?
At this level as a nickel?
I think the beauty of it is he can do both effectively. And I think part of it too is the football IQ portion of it. And he checks all the boxes when it comes to that. And the cool thing is he's shown it. He's shown it on tape, so you feel that much better about the overall vision. So nickel, yes, and I think he has some ability to play some safety too. And he is scrappy now. So he'll throw his body around.
You want guys that are multi. How the NIL and transfers just maybe change that process a little bit. Yes, I mean I think there's a couple different parts to that. One, Pat talked on this earlier, like the collaborative nature of our department. So lots of times when guys transfer, we'll touch base with our other scouts. We email each other, we call each other, we talk about, hey, what are you getting from this program? This is one of the guys where we did talk a little bit about his time at Ole Miss, as well as at Tulane now. So there were some relationships where part of his journey to Oregon, they were familiar with him from coaches who had been at some of those prior programs. So it's not, you mentioned NIL, but really this is one of those kids who's been driven by football, a lot of his path, and a lot of it was opportunity and the opportunity to play football at the highest level. That also speaks to the program where he ends up at Oregon, where, what Greg was talking about earlier, just this is a program that you've seen a lot of consistency, you've seen what their culture is about, and we trust that. Obviously, we talked about taking a guy like Bossa last year and now a guy like Kennedy. So with the transfers, that's something that we see with a number of kids now. But when it comes to how that impacts us looking at him, there are a lot of people that we've all talked with. We all work with each other to try and make sure we have do we have a common theme of feedback on this guy? And with him, it's pretty consistent. And even to that point, or to the earlier question about flexibility, it's not just a projection. Like they talked about at Oregon, this guy had played safety, nickel, and then due to injuries actually had plugged in on the perimeter at corner as well, all within their scheme. And that's coming there just 1 year, right? So not a lot of time to learn it, not as much experience in it, yet he was trusted in multiple spots in it, and we see that. And some of that was also on his Ole Miss tape as well. He makes a great point in his pro day.
So I was at the pro day, and I think the one thing I took away was just the competitive nature. And he ran fast enough, and the cool thing, he chose to do everything. You see a lot of these guys picking and choosing, and this guy came in with the mindset of let me just compete today, and he showed up pretty well, even with the position drill stuff too, which I thought was one of the better things he did. The reactionary athleticism, closing speed, acceleration, all that fun stuff. So
just to confirm, did you get 4.38?
I got a different time than that, but it was still fast.
Set himself up now for the NFL.
Right. I mean, I think you kind of answered your question a
Yeah,
little bit
great
there.
question.
You know, I mean, it just hit one, I would say, and Greg touched on this a little bit earlier, and we just, you know, we have a good relationship with those guys at Oregon. We know kind of what we're getting from that program, and that scheme is not simple, right? It is a complex scheme. There are a lot of multiples. There's a lot that goes into it. And that's not a shot at any other programs. I'm just saying specific to what they do. We saw that with Bassa last year, and we're seeing it this year. Like, there is a lot to it. And then to kind of to your point, him still being new there though, and then being able to play the multiple roles he did. And then also, and something to touch on with this kid, you see the tape kind of surge a little bit too. Like some of those plays that they even showed in the draft highlights, like late in the season, where this kid really starts kind of catching his stride and making plays in critical situations. I mean, the one against Washington, the one against USC, like those were on critical downs. These were in important points of the game. And some of them are at different spots. Like one of those, he was playing safety. One of them, he's playing nickel. Like, just not just being able to do it, but then executing from that position. It speaks to his intelligence, and that's something that's very important here. That's something that we really emphasize. I mean, Pat talked about it with our coaches, and it's awesome that that they're involved in the process and the way that Brett does that and brings them all into the process. So when you have a kid that you not just have evidence of it, but then through the process it's confirmed and multiple people feel that way and have confidence about it, like that works for us.
And you guys have seen their approach. When they walk in the door, everybody's back to zero. And you know what? I say this to every guy. It doesn't matter where you get picked. It doesn't matter who picks you. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? When you walk through the door, your attitude, your effort, your desire, that shows. And that's why guys like Jalen Watson, a 7th round pick, becomes a starter and you know, a very wealthy man. That's how, I'm just being honest. That's how a 4th round pick, Leo Chenal, becomes a, you know, when you walk through the door, it's all back to zero. Now you're just like everybody else, and you got to find your way. And you better not drop the ball. You better not, you know, put down your playbook and, I'm a 2nd round pick. I got this. There's somebody breathing down your neck. And the next year, there's going to be somebody else breathing down your neck. So it's constant. And that's what makes this league so tough. And you look at, you know, I don't know what the average is. I think it might still be like 2.8.
3.5.
You know, that guys have been in this league. So you don't stay in this league long if you're not ready to go. So, and the fact that he's such a competitor, like these guys mentioned, will give him an advantage.
Just to add to that too, just the mindset. You know, the word this year's mindset, and it's just like creating competition within that room. Hopefully, influences everyone else to compete. And really, we all know. I mean, competition breeds success, and competition breeds improvement. So we're excited for that.
A couple times you find those guys in the draft you really, really like. It was Noah Williams last year. It was Kennedy now. Just because he can play all over. Hey, safety, need him at safety help? Yes. Nickel, can he get to the quarterback, help you in the run game? Undersized, but plays tough. The dude's a tough dude. And it shows their respect for Dan Lanning and what he tells them, the head coach of Oregon, because Bassa was the same way. They really trust what Dan Lanning, guys coming out of his program. Because, again, Dan Lanning was the defensive coordinator at Georgia, winning a national title there. So this guy knows his defense.
And let's hope, beyond hope, that Jaden Kennedy ends the horror that is Shamari Connor playing in the slot. Like, hopefully now you can play Connor in the back, have him play center field. Same thing with Lohi Gilman, have them play back, and then you could have Jaden Kennedy play in the slot and just kind of be that kind of star position type player. Because we know that like they've needed a fix for their slot corner role for a while now. And they did get a temporary solution this year with Kader Kohu, but you know that that's not going to be a long-term solution there. So that's the reason why I was like, you got to get one this year. And that's the reason why Jaden Kennedy was the guy that I mocked to them in round 5, because I was like, they absolutely have to have a solution for the future. So you don't feel like you have to take someone that isn't really best in that role playing there.
I guarantee he'll find himself on the kickoff team as well.
Oh, yeah, and he's feisty. Like, the number one thing you heard about him, the number one and they said it in that quote there, was scrappy. And I love that. I want DBs. I want DBs that are kind of divas. Same thing with receivers. I kind of want a little diva in my corner in my receiver.
They drafted some attitudes this year.
Yeah, I want that. Like I want Peter Woods got that too.
Yeah, these
like
guys just have
Peter
a lot of
Woods got a
attitude.
little bit of that. I like that because I want those guys to be able to have a little bit of that.
Definitely does.
Yeah, R. Mason does too. I want that because like especially on defense, like I know like the offensive players they get pissed in training camp when those defenders like after the player like trying to punch the ball out and remember it was a couple years ago Travis Kelce got mad and like shoved one of the players when they did that. I was like I want my defensive players doing that in training camp.
Well, when he kept doing that and people were saying it's like, no, this is the defense's mind. Spags has these guys all about stripping the ball. So if they hit them late and they're going to scrap the ball, this is what they're instructed to do.
Yeah.
That was the directive of the coaching staff to do that. Every time you saw them agitate the offense, that was on purpose.
Yeah, no, and that's good.
And it got in their heads.
Because you do want to prepare the offense for that because teams are going to do that to them all year long.
And at least they didn't fear going after a guy with an icon like Kelce. They went right after
go
him.
after
Didn't
him.
matter.
Do that. Don't be afraid of
they
the
weren't doing
opposing
that against
player just
Justin
because he's a
Wiley. They were
legend.
doing it against Kelce.
Don't be afraid to antagonize a legend. Get on his ass too because that you can get them out of their game and that's good for the defense. So I like that, and I love, and this is the reason why I love these deals here is I love how they talk about the mindset of the players and it's not just about what he does on the field from a play standpoint. It's his attitude, it's his personality, his behavior.
There was multiple scouts that worked.
Yeah, and I love that. That's what I want out of my. That's what I want to hear out of the scouts is like, what do they think about this player as a person? And that's one of the things we don't know. When we mock players to teams and we say, hey, I really want this player. And this is the reason why I always talk about like fit so much. Because you don't know if a player is a culture fit. You can say, well, stylistically he plays like the players in that position group do on that team. But if he's not a culture fit, then it really, then that team's probably not going to mess with them.
Info from the coaching staff,
other
players,
they
find out everything.
Media that are there, because I'm sure you hear about stuff from the media in that area. I'm sure these scouts will talk to like the beat writers in that area, say, hey, what do you think about this player? Like, have they gotten in any trouble? Have you heard anything?
In draft day, they said, how many people went to his birthday party? They used that to grade the movie Draft Day. Is funny.
Oh, I haven't seen the movie. I was like, what are you talking about?
Draft day.
I'm not watching that trash ass
talking
movie.
about a quarterback.
Like I said,
I went to his birthday party. Nobody liked him.
I think they're making another. Did you see the thing where Goodell came out and like announced a fake pick, but the audience didn't know they were filming it? I think they're making a second.
Like a Leon Sandcastle type move?
I think they're making a second.
I'll say this. I've never seen. I don't like sports movies, so I've never seen it. But somebody put a graphic out last week of the trades that were made in that film.
Oh, they're awful.
And I was like, whoever wrote this film doesn't watch football.
You would get a kick out of it.
It's for pure entertainment.
Whoever wrote this doesn't actually watch football.
You would get a kick out
They
of it.
watched the top 10 of whatever draft popped up, whatever draft happened when they were writing the film. And they were like, I think I could turn this into a movie. But I've heard it's terrible things. I like bad movies, but that just seems preposterous.
They played some Madden franchise mode, and they were like, okay.
Madden wouldn't let you make some of those trades. Madden would delete itself off your hard drive if you made some of those
Remember the
trades.
birthday thing?
Oh, yeah.
Well, nobody went to his birthday party. Nobody likes him.
Yep.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. Some teams do make decisions on players based on stupid stuff like that.
Nobody likes him, coach. Nobody likes him.
Yeah, like the teams do make decisions like that. So that part actually is believable.
Like scouts do find out stuff like that.
Yeah, they find out dirt about these guys real easy. So I that part is actually one of the more believable parts about it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it, but if I do, I'll text y'all, let y'all know because it's not gonna be good at all.
Make sure you're drinking.
Yeah, I usually don't. I don't drink that much.
No, do you want to during this?
Maybe we'll see. Coming up next, there was a lot of talk about consensus draft boards and how teams should approach the draft. And I think the Chiefs did a really good job of kind of explaining the proper way to go about doing it. And I also think the 49ers did it too. We'll talk about that coming up next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where fine jewelry is always crafted with care no matter the price. Mother's Day, birthdays and graduations, weddings and anniversaries, the new job you got, and even the one you didn't. Give a birthstone necklace, a heart-shaped locket made in Italy, or high-quality diamond studs you can trade up every year. At Shane Company, we have something for everyone, because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
There's nothing like the sound of Royals baseball. When the boys in blue take the field, loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber, connects to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management. here for every chapter of your financial story.
There's nothing in blue. Take the field. Loyal fans tune in, turn it up, and stay connected. And where do Kansas City's most passionate sports fans gather? Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Sports fans are loyal fans. They support the teams they love and the businesses that support their team. If you're ready to grow your business and connect with a dedicated, engaged audience, call 816-522-0444 or email greg.bergen@odyssey.com. That's greg.bergen@odyssey.com.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat. All for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal. A satisfying meal full of big flavor for great value. DQ. Happy tastes good.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now you've heard about First, does chronic pain family? Does it hurt doing the things you need to do? Like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Final hour of our final Character Concerns NFL Draft Special of the season. Our NFL Draft coverage here on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. So we talked about, early on the show about the 49ers taking Dejon Stribling, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, who was previously at Oklahoma State before that, so not too far from here. But one of the media members there asked John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan after the draft about quote unquote reaching on players, because they don't really stick to what would be the national consensus draft board, if you will. And every year we talk about players, where they're drafted and whatnot. We talk about who was a reach, who was a steal, et cetera, et cetera. And John Lynch made this great point, and we actually played a clip from Ryan Nutt earlier talking about whether or not you are deciding on picks ahead of time or you pick best available based on what your board is at that time. And I don't know how you feel about this, Bink, but like, do you put a lot of stock in the national consensus board versus like, trusting that teams have their own board valuations and decide on value based on their own prerogatives, as opposed to seeing a Mel Kiper's big board and saying, let's just go off of that?
No, you find the guy that you like as a fit. I remember Tariq Woolen. And just from personal deal, I had Tariq.
You were a big Rick Woolen guy.
I didn't go in like the second round.
Yeah.
6'4" corner with
4.2 something.
Yeah, in the 4.2 range
yeah.
in 440s. It's simply ridiculous. And he ends up going in the 5th. And I was thinking, all right, the 6'4" corner, this huge wingspan with that kind of speed. I mocked him a second. Someone said, "What are you putting Tariq Woolen up that far?" And I said, "Well, I think he's good." And clearly, the Eagles have him now.
Yeah,
he was
he had a nice little career with the Seahawks. Yeah.
So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And again, if Trey Smith would have been taken in the second round or third round, a lot of people would have said,
reach.
"Oh man, it's a total reach." Now you're looking at this
big
guy,
risk.
As an all-pro caliber player, the highest paid player to his position, but it would have been seen as a reach. No, if you're convicted on a player, whatever round you snag him in, it doesn't. Is Mahomes the 10th pick in the draft? No.
He was thought to be late first, early second.
Is Lamar Jackson the 32nd pick in the draft like he was? No.
He probably would have been a second round pick. He probably would have been well into the second round before he got taken if we went by consensus board.
Is Brock Purdy Mr. Irrelevant? No.
Yeah, he might go higher. He might get undrafted.
But a guy going to a quarterback, going to the Super Bowl is Mr. Irrelevant. But again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, and this is the reason why I actually like
Tom Brady going in the 6th.
I respect what Lynch was saying, because I think that's how you should operate as a team. Like, I know there's a lot of media members that kind of got a little butthurt about the comments and, oh, well, you should stick to the consensus because that's who determines that value? It's media. It's not the
it's
team.
Like when Trey Lance, what he did, that's people listening to the outside.
Like, this is the reason why I always say, like, and throughout this entire process, like, we've had, like, multiple people come out and, tell us, well, we want this player to the Chiefs because he's a really good player and he's at a position of need. And we always were like, yeah, but that player doesn't really fit the kind of guys they typically go for. We talked about that with Edge. Now, obviously,
Ruben Bain was the big one.
Yeah, Ruben Bain was the big one because, he's got T-Rex arms. And we were like, hey, he's really not their kind of fit. Like, I understand the explosiveness. I understand the power. But, it's like, man, he ain't explosive enough to be able to overcome the arm length issue that he has because it's so catastrophically bad. And
maybe he does, but is it worth top 10?
Yeah, is it worth? But that's the thing is that you don't know. Yeah. That's the reason why it's really
top 10
risky.
picks. I don't think you look at it enough.
Yeah, like he's much safer at 15 than he was at 9. And the thing that really kind of concerned me about, that really concerned me about that is because, the value probably is, if it's not there, if he's just mediocre edge rusher who can stop the run and is okay pass rusher, he's not worth the top 10. And that's a big risk there because you're expecting him to be the outlier of outliers. So I always say this, like, trust your board. Trust your players that you value.
Well,
Don't.
I remember JSN earlier,
Yeah.
20th pick. 22nd was Justin Jefferson. Are they better than that? Was Randy Moss
Remember,
better than
Jalen Reagor went ahead of Justin Jefferson in that very same
What was
draft.
Randy Moss like 21?
Something like that. Yeah,
but
something
again,
like that.
if that's your guy, who cares if you get him at number 12 or number 13? You don't have to wait till you're told to take them.
Yeah, and I always think like fans are like, he wouldn't have gone for another 20 picks. Well,
Like, how do you know?
If you don't pick for another 20 picks, then you wouldn't have had another shot at him either.
Yeah,
So-
and the next year, go back and look at who those 20 picks were before him, and it's laughable.
And it's always like, how do you know?
You don't.
Because
Nobody does.
Yeah, because if you clearly have one team willing to take that player in that spot, all it takes is any other team being willing to take them in that spot, and that's what that player's value is. Like, that's always whenever I hear people say, well, he wouldn't have gone there, it was like, we don't know that. Like, we don't – maybe other teams were just as high on Dejon Stribling as the 49ers were. We don't know that. That's the reason why I always like the whole, like, that's a reach or whatever. It's like, maybe not. We don't know. Like, you can't definitively say that.
Well, there gets to be this buzz and this stature about picks, and if you miss on them or you whiff on them, you got to take them. Mitch Trubisky's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like there had to have been questions in front offices about it, but you got to take this guy. You can't pass on this guy. And I think some people start to believe that, and they do things that they shouldn't do.
Well, I think for the Bears, it was different because what we heard from whoever the GM was at the time, he was convinced that he had drafted the next Drew Brees. Like, he had conviction with that Trubisky pick, so much so that he made a pointless trade up one spot with the 49ers to go get him.
GMs and stuff worry about the fact that they pass on somebody.
Yeah,
People are
they
going
do.
to criticize him heavily. He's like, just let it play out.
Like, this is the reason why I'm not mad about the Chiefs trading up to get Mansour Delane, because they believed that he would not make it to them at 9, and they really coveted him. If you have him above the other guy, because, like, clearly, like, there was a texter on the text line earlier, like, they should have taken Caleb Downs at 9. It was like maybe they thought there was a big divide between Mansour Delane and Caleb Downs. And if that's what you believe, you should stick to your board. Don't go out here and deal with public perception. You have an entire scouting team that you pay to watch these kids, to talk to people around these kids, and to do all the dirty work, all the homework. And if you do all of that and you come to the conclusion that this player is better than player A is better than player B, then draft player A.
And here's the only other unknown. You're tucked away in college. You are the dude. Everybody looks at you, right? And all of a sudden you're with an NFL team, and you're no longer that top dog anymore. How are you adjusting to the millions? Not that you may have got it for nil, but how are you adjusting to the money? Do you fit in the system? Does the NFL just overpower you because you look at everybody you're seeing is strong and fast? It's much different to college. You get to the pros, everybody's at an elite level. Can those players make that adjustment going from college to pro? There's just so many of those unknowns like that. That's where the culture fit comes in. Hey, this guy did great at Cincinnati in college. Will he do well in the NFL? Is he going to do well in the AFC West? Like, he does great there in the Big 12, but what's he going to do in the AFC West?
Yeah. And again, those boards, those consensus draft boards, if you will, are just guesses. That's all they are. It's just we're guessing. And a lot of those guys who do those boards copy other people's boards. Like
when Kuiper comes out with his top 10, there'll be other. Like if Kuiper mocks Kenyon Sadiq, let's say, to the Chiefs a long time ago, there'll be 7 or 8.
Or even Dane Brugler too now, because Dane Brugler has kind of become. I think right now Dane Brugler is probably like at the very top because of the beast and everything.
We saw a ton of this with the Chiefs with Jeremiah Love.
Yeah,
somebody put him on there, then.
Next thing you know, more than half of the 25 most recent ones.
Ruben Bain became
Ruben Bain became the consensus guy, and then like later on, we started to see like a mix between him and Mansour Delane, and then Delane became the top guy. But like, it's just a lot of guys are copying other people, and that's the reason why I love our
That's
mocks.
always like the outliers.
Yeah,
the ones that.
That's why I love our mocks, because we don't copy those boards. We pick who we think is the best fit for the Chiefs.
It was hard to find a Mekhi Lemon.
Because remember, we never mocked Ruben Bain to the Chiefs a single time.
No,
not one time. We didn't even. If you go back, you listen to
Jeremiah Love.
We didn't even discuss Ruben Bain, and now granted, on those mocks, Love and Bain weren't available on the early ones, but on the later ones, not Love, but Bain was available on like the last 2 we did, I believe, and we didn't take him because we were adamant he's not a fit.
I don't think we even had Jeremiah Love even before Walker.
No, we never did. No, because I personally do not believe in taking a running back in the top 10. It's just my personal belief. That running back, there is no running back that you can take that is worth a receiver worthy of a top 10 pick, a quarterback worthy of a top 10 pick, a tackle, an edge rusher, a corner. Those are positions way more valuable. Like even Arvell Reese, if he just becomes an off-ball linebacker, I think. If he's a great off-ball linebacker at 5th overall, I think he's a better value than Jeremiah Love at 3 because of the fact that linebackers, I think, can make more impactful plays that win you games than running backs do. Whereas a running back, like, you need a lot of other things around the running back to win.
Just like I said, only 4 of the top 10 running backs from the
and also, in order for your running back to be good, you have to have at least a passable offensive line. Like, if your offensive line is trash, then the running back is severely affected by that. Like, I was reading this book here recently. It's called Take Your Eye Off the Ball by Pat Kerwin, who's friends with your guy, Pete Carroll. And, he said, like, the offensive line sets the floor for your running game, and then your running back sets the ceiling of it. And I think that's a really good point there. And it's like, if that's the case, then why are you drafting your running back in the top 10 when you need a good offensive line in front of them in order for them to be any good? We already saw that with Genty last year.
Speaking of Pete Carroll, in his book, he had wrote trust. If you can't trust that safety or you can't trust that corner and you have to know you're going to have to go over and help them, good football teams earn that trust, where I can trust you're going to do your job and I don't have to help you do it. That's when teams become good, when they can trust guy to be a two-gapper and keep guys off the linebackers to flow and make plays. If you can't trust the guy in front of you or the guy playing out the corner, you're not going to be a good team.
Yeah, and that's the reason why chemistry is so important. You got to have good personalities that mix together. And, we had heard, I think you brought up during one of the breaks here recently about Michael Trigg, because we know that Jackson does his top 100, his top 100 board, and Michael Trigg was the only player you didn't get in that top 100.
Character concerns might have been an issue. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like stuff like that. We don't know about it. Sometimes it gets out, but a lot of times we don't know about
Just
it.
the why. Why wasn't a guy taken?
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason. Well, you find reasons.
Especially for someone as talented as he is. Like, you got to be a reason that makes sense.
There's always
now.
a why.
That makes sense now. So I like I said, I thought that was intriguing, like seeing that clip from Lynch and Shanahan, and seeing, like, yesterday there was all of this discourse about the consensus boards for national media, and it's like, none of these teams care about those consensus boards because they build their own boards from scratch based on who they think are the best players.
I felt they bought in too much of the hype on Trey Lance when they made that move for him. They were buying the consensus
me too. I think they did too. Maybe they watched tape,
They
and
might
they just
say they did, but they bought
maybe
into it.
maybe they watched tape and they were like, "Hey, we think this guy's going to be incredible."
Dude had played one game his last year because of the COVID.
Right, but like maybe they saw enough tape that were like, we really like this guy, and maybe that's why. But like, obviously that conviction was wrong, and they and certainly with COVID being a big factor there, it's like maybe you should be skeptical about some of these players. Like Zach Wilson, maybe you should be skeptical about Zach Wilson when he played nobody his final year in college there. So. Like I said, I thought it was an interesting topic there. Coming up next, we will talk about some of the undrafted free agents that the Chiefs brought in.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Missouri proudly honors the men and women who served our nation. If you're a veteran, you may be eligible for the Missouri Veterans Recognition War Medallion Program. Recipients receive a commemorative medal set, a certificate, and letters of appreciation from the Governor, Secretary of State, and the Adjutant General. Learn more or apply by searching Missouri Veterans Recognition Program or call 573-638-9500. Sponsored by the Missouri National Guard.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Hey guys, this is Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the upcoming World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And I'm Scott Parks from Dana Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC features the biggest names who helped make the World Cup in Kansas City possible. And there was a lot of work, plus the major storylines heading into this summer's tournament.
This is so much more. This isn't just a podcast about soccer.
No, you're right, Rob. It's a podcast about Kansas City, for Kansas City, telling the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes drop every Wednesday starting on March 4th, along with video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ social channels.
So make sure you subscribe. Download Beyond the Pitch KC with Rob Brennan and myself, Scott Parks, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unocero.
Getting into the undrafted free agent signings that the Chiefs have made. Now, the Chiefs haven't announced any of these officially because I still think they have to. There's like a whole process that they have to go through.
Yeah, you'll
to
see
get
the
these guys
schools
signed.
release them and stuff. You'll see the names on Twitter and everything else, but
Right.
teams do not talk about it.
Yeah, teams. Literally, and Ryan Nutt was asked about that earlier this morning, and he was like, "We can't make any official announcements, because we haven't done any official announcements, so we can't confirm anybody yet. But we really like our UDFA class. So, but one of the interesting things, because these signings happen right at the end of the draft. Like as soon as the draft is done, like all the insiders just start reporting all the guys that signed.
That's why Veach doesn't talk at the end of the draft.
He's trying to sign some players.
One of the teams that did the best at it was the Seattle Seahawks and John Schneider.
Yeah.
They used to come up with like pamphlets and stuff they'd send to the guys. This is why you need to go to our program. They had a lot of success with the undrafted free agents.
And it's a good thing, too, because with the undrafted system, like it's good for the players because you get to choose where you go.
It's better to be an undrafted free agent
Than be like a seventh round pick.
Absolutely.
And you can get more guaranteed money on
It's
that
more
contract,
money,
too.
And you choose where you're going.
Yeah, so it's a good, obviously, I'm sure for the pride of these players, it sucks to not be drafted. It sucks to have that undrafted, label next to your name.
But you get that chip on your shoulder, though.
And yeah, you get that chip on your shoulder, and you go out here and you can use that as motivation to help further your game. But one of the interesting things about it was just how athletic the guys that they're bringing in. Like we talked about this, throughout the weekend. Chiefs are very obviously focusing on athleticism, speed. They're trying to get guys who are at peak athleticism on their roster. One of the biggest reasons why the guys that they went after, Mansour Delane, is known to be an incredible athlete, 4.35 40 speed. What was his name? R. Mason Thomas, known for his explosion off the line. Peter Woods, known for his explosion off the line. He looks like he's teleporting sometimes. That's how quick his feet are. And, so it's kind of different. you sign UDFAs, but there's also guys you invite to rookie camp.
Like Diego Pavia. He got invited to
the Ravens camp.
Which he's like 3 days and you're back to being gone.
That's what I'm saying.
Signed with them.
He's probably going to be playing in Canada this summer. I think was it the Argonauts?
St. Louis Battlehawks.
Maybe he could be the UFL. I think he's probably going to end up maybe. You know what? I think maybe he plays Canada this year because I think the Argonauts have his rights, and then maybe next year he goes UFL, depending on how that works out.
Or selling for State Farm.
Yeah, he might be selling insurance here pretty soon. But one of the guys that I think was really interesting, they brought in Jaden Ott, the Oklahoma running back. Obviously, he played for current Chiefs running back coach DeMarco Murray, the really, really fun running back that played for Arkansas and then eventually the Cowboys. And the Raiders, too. Hated him when he was with the Raiders. But Jaden Ott played there. He signed with the team, so that'll be really interesting there. I don't think he makes the team, but I think it is good to have him out there. He'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, he's an under-talked about. People are talking a ton about Caldwell and stuff, the receiver, but Jaden Ott scored a touchdown in the Senior Bowl. He had a very good Senior Bowl, right? He was a transfer to Oklahoma from Cal. He actually led the Pac-12 in rushing a couple of years ago at 1,300 yards. It's funny because we know that Evan Johnson led the Big Ten in rushing this year. Jaden Ott actually led the Pac-12 in rushing. Now, it's not this Pac-12 now. It was the Pac-12 that still at Oregon and at USC. But Jaden Ott's an interesting guy. It's funny because he didn't get 68 yards at Oklahoma, and his running back coach is DeMarco Murray, but must have liked him because he wouldn't have ended up here if he didn't.
Yeah, and it was funny. It's like you brought up there were some rumors that they didn't really get along, but
clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, and it was funny because DeMarco Murray also put in a good word for R. Mason Thomas.
Yes, he did.
Different sides of the ball, but yeah, he did. He did go out there, and they obviously asked him, questions about him and whatnot. And he clearly did enough, gave him the kind of answers they needed to have to go out there and draft him. So another guy you brought up, Jeff Caldwell, the wide receiver from Cincinnati, teammate of 5th-round pick for the Chiefs, Cyrus Allen. Interesting thing about him, he's 6'4",
6'5".
Well, he actually
combine he was 6'5" and 3/8.
Okay, they listed him as 6'4".
Yeah, this was combine and 216.
And 216, and then he ran a 4.3 140
at that size.
At that size.
Keep this in mind. He left high school at 5'10".
Yeah,
you never see a guy go from 5'10" to 6'5", do you? Well, never.
Not that often.
I mean,
no.
When he goes to college at 5'10" and comes out 6'5" right now, it's insane.
Yeah, that's really interesting there to see that combination of size and speed out there. But the thing that I find really interesting though is like you watch his tape, he needs a lot of work separating.
No, he does. He does. We got a text about him earlier. Look, he played at Division II Lindenwood, right? Before he goes to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Chris, look at these numbers. I mean, you look at his size and his ability. His first year at Lindenwood, 8 catches. His second year at Lindenwood, 32 receptions. That actually led the team that year. His next year at Lindenwood, 53 receptions. And this past year at Cincinnati, 32. Translations, he's not used very much.
Yeah.
He wasn't even used. I mean, those aren't big catch numbers even at Lindenwood. It's not like he went out for 100 catches or 90 catches more. 53 was the high water mark for him at Lindenwood. Division II football, he had 32 for Cincinnati. So, yes, he's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got all these intangibles you want. The production doesn't match the skill sets to be enamored with.
Yeah, like I said,
do you think this is going to translate right away to the NFL?
No, he's definitely a project guy if he even makes the roster. Like, I don't want people to assume.
I like the kid. I love 6'5" and running that speed. Come on.
Yeah, but like I said, you watch that film. It was funny. Somebody on the text line earlier compared him to Dwayne Bowe.
I saw it.
And I was like, man, if he's Dwayne Bowe, he's not going to work in the league. Because with that kind of speed, you should be able to get separation.
And we do have to remember something. If you're not drafted, there's usually a reason.
Yeah. Like I said, and it's because you watch the tape, he doesn't get much separation, and it's like you can't tell he's got 4.3 140 speed.
Did get himself to the combine, though.
Yeah. So I hope that he's able to, and maybe, he's got a professional receivers coach now in Chad O'Shea, and he'll have other guys on his team. He's like what, 30, 40 pounds lighter than Travis Kelce, but, maybe Kelce is going to, he can help him as far as like, developing the nuances of route running and whatnot.
Sure, the funny thing is Cyrus Allen didn't get invited to the combine.
And
Caldwell did.
And the interesting thing about Cyrus Allen,
they drafted Cyrus.
Cyrus Allen is a way better route runner. Like if you took the route running of Cyrus Allen and gave that skill to Jeff Caldwell, he would have been a first-round pick based on those measurables.
That size and speed is ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it. If you see that, all that stuff is great. And then you say, why doesn't a guy that big have more than 32 catches at Lindenwood?
Yeah, and it's because of the fact that, he's not he just doesn't have that skill right now to be a top-end player. They also signed Houston cornerback Zelmar Vetter. They brought in Pete Nigra, the center from Louisville. They brought in Chris Johnson's teammate, Bryce Phillips, the corner from San Diego State. Edge rusher Vincent Anthony Jr. from Duke. One guy that I thought was really interesting, local kid had played at Rockhurst, John Michael Gillenborg from Wyoming, tight end. Like I said, local kid played at Rockhurst, so I think that one.
I don't think he played a ton of Rockhurst either. Kind of late developer. It's a good story. Great story. Glad they did it.
Which makes sense as to why he would end up at a school like Wyoming, because generally schools like that, especially if you have someone who has talent to play, in like the bigger power conferences, generally those guys were late bloomers in high school, and then you kind of have to work your way up. But he was at the Senior Bowl. I honestly wasn't that impressed with him at the Senior Bowl, but I do think that it was. I do think they have an interesting crop of players here. Xavier Wonkpa, the safety from Iowa, is another name I think that is interesting. And then Wesley Bizaint, the linebacker from Miami. Like I said, I like. They also got in what's his name? Emmitt Smith's son, E.J. Smith from Texas A&M. They brought him in as well. So, like I said, don't put too much stock. You know how every year we talk about like the Camp Darling types, and Caldwell will be
100%
a guy that everyone is talking about at camp.
He'll
because of the
somebody in
measurables.
camp, and it'll be a defensive back that will make the team, and it'll happen.
And then it'll be he's the next thing you know, he's going to be the Tyler Bray, the
He'll
Aaron
be the
Murray,
next Justin Ross.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. He will be the next Justin Ross, and everybody will convince themselves that he's going to be a great receiver because of the measurables and all of that, and
Just like I say, Garrett Nussmeyer's going to throw over 250 in the third preseason game.
Oh, he will.
And that's
Watch, he'll probably throw 100 of those yards to Jeff Caldwell, and then when we talk about how great he's going to be,
it's going to happen. He's going to throw over 250 in that third preseason.
Yeah, he's gonna beat someone down the field on a 9 route, and he's gonna take it for 6.
Caldwell.
And next thing you know, everyone's gonna be calling for him to make the roster. Like they're just gonna be like, cut whoever, bring this guy in.
He's going to go 70 deep to Caldwell.
Yeah, like and it'll be funny, but also at the same time it'll be annoying because of what people texting in with ridiculous. He's going to be the next great wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I want the kid to succeed, but he's a UDFA, and there's a reason why when you watch the tape that he's a UDFA. So let's temper our expectations, but definitely.
Not saying he can't make a team,
right?
UDFA make teams all the time.
They make teams all the time, and so it's like I hope he makes the team. If they can tap into that level of physical talent, that would be awesome. Because then, that's kind of your supplementary, receiver that we were hoping they would get in the draft. But am I betting on it? No. That's the part where it's like
it's kind of like an unrefined Nick Harbor.
Yeah, very unrefined, though Harbor is a unicorn. He's got 20 pounds on this kid. Similar height, but he's got 20 pounds on him, and
runs elite track level speed.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be at 4.3. He's probably gonna be mid, maybe even low 4.3. We'll see. But like I said, I just wanted to touch on the UDFAs here, and just kind of see how see what we could be seeing in the future here at training camp. Coming up next, we will take your text questions on the J Southland Tow Service text line at 913-586-7965. Whatever questions you have about this draft class for the Chiefs or for the NFL, text us in on the text line, and we'll answer them coming up next.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply online today at leavenworthks.gov/police. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
She walked miles with her granddaughters every day at Disney with zero knee pain, but she couldn't have done that months ago. This all started with a visit to QC Kinetics.
We have spent the last 4 days going from park to park, walking all day long, no pain. I feel fantastic.
Here's what baffles people when they hear Kathy's story.
The doctor said, you need 2 full knee replacements. And I said, that's not going to happen. I went to QC Kinetics, started treatment that day. Within a couple of weeks, I was absolutely pain-free.
It's the kind of story that QC Kinetics hears from patients all the time.
I cannot thank QC Kinetics enough for giving me my life back. I'm active again and loving it. I'm well over a year out. I've had absolutely no pain in either knee.
Before you agree to surgery, listen to this. Think about it.
Tomorrow is Animal Kingdom, so yeah, gotta go.
Kathy's glad she took them up on the free consultation. We have one set aside for you.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER. Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Rob Britton from The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, and we're excited to announce the launch of Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series documenting the run-up to the World Cup with our friends over at 98.1 KMBZ.
And Rob, I'm Scott Parks from Dan and Parks on KMBZ. Beyond the Pitch KC will feature the biggest names who made the World Cup in Kansas City possible. Plus, the biggest storylines heading into this summer's tournament. This is not a podcast about soccer. Don't get us wrong. This is a podcast about Kansas City. This is a podcast for Kansas City. And this is a podcast that'll tell the story of how our town is hosting the world's biggest sporting event.
New episodes will be released every Wednesday starting on March 4th, as well as video clips that can be seen on 96.5 The Fan and KMBZ's social channels.
Subscribe and download to Beyond the Pitch KC, a limited podcast series with myself, Rob Britton, on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Character Concerns Draft Special, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. And by the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army Civic Lunch on May 7th. This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Here's Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero.
20 minutes, and we're done with the with our NFL draft coverage for the season here on the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special.
Could hear Goodell now. Cardinals, you are on the clock.
So we're taking it could be the Cardinals, could be the Jets, could be Miami.
Like, Jets might have just a little too much talent. But I don't know. Maybe they don't have a quarterback, so no.
Yeah, they're also the Jets. They've had years where they've had talent and they've
It's
still
like when
sucked.
Cade Klubnik said, "I had a dream. I woke up and I was going to be drafted by the Jets." Said
Man,
no one.
It was a nightmare, bro. So get your questions in to us on the J Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. And we will answer some of them. First one, is there any credence to the suspicion that the Chiefs thought that they could get Arvell Reese by trading up? I mean, at 3, yeah. They probably thought they could get him if they went up to 3. They just didn't want to move up to 3 because they didn't want to move either their 29 or their 40.
I mean, these reporters hearing that they were sniffing to move up. Albert Breer put it out too. He's a pretty reliable source. So, yeah, probably when you're picking 9th, everything's on the table, man. Calls to move back, calls to move up. So I'm sure it was discussed.
I think part of the question might have been, did the Chiefs trade up thinking that the Giants wouldn't take Arvell Reese at 5 and that we'd
Absolutely
get him at 6?
not.
Because I've seen that.
No.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
because they have too many other.
I've seen that floated out there
Brian
a lot.
Burns and Thibodeau
the Chiefs
and
messed
Abdul
up.
Carter.
The Chiefs messed up by trading up to 6, thinking he'd be there. No, that's not what happened.
No,
Because the analytics would probably tell you maybe they won't take him because all the.
I don't think the Chiefs, because you have to remember, the Chiefs made that trade with the idea of Mansour Delane. The logic was we're moving ahead of the Saints and the Commanders and getting Mansour Delane. Yeah. It wasn't we're moving ahead because we think Arvell Reese is going to be here. Because the pick hadn't even been announced when the Chiefs had already
it didn't matter if Colonel
agreed
Tate
to the trade.
Colonel Tate was still available.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't think there was if they wanted to get Arvell Reese, you move up to 3. Yeah. By moving up to 6, you were like, hey, and they already said like, hey, we thought we were getting we chose Mansour Delane a month ago. So, yeah, I don't think that. Lance asked if he could be added to the Character Concerns crew. You have to be an employee here. Like, we don't just let anyone on the crew. You got to be an employee here.
Like
and you got to start from the bottom. You got to start from the bottom. And
I'm
then
barely
you go.
part of it.
I'm
I've been
shocked
here the whole
Lance
draft
didn't have a
season.
20. I'm shocked I didn't see a 27 draft from Lance yet.
He probably will now that you brought it up.
Oh no, he would have done it anyway.
Somebody asked us, what are our grades for the draft? I had B+. I think you were all of us were Bs, right? In the B range, like B+.
I gave him
range.
solid B, yeah.
In the B range, but just remember, I hate draft grades because they don't matter. Ask me in 2 years what would grade this class.
Somebody said that it seems like the Chiefs are engagement farming by UDFAing a bunch of freak athletes to stir up the fan base after a meeting.
That's a Gen Z kid if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think the Chiefs.
No, the Chiefs are not engagement farming. They're trying to find athletes.
They're trying to find the guy with the most aura, Chris.
Yeah, they're doing that. The most Riz. They need that Riz. Like
Whichever guy's going to get them the most views on.
Yeah,
They're making
the
drive
scouts.
up I-29
The
to see
scouts
Joe.
are asking coaches about their Riz on campus. Like that's what they're doing here. That's what we need to know right here.
How many girlfriends did this guy have? In his
How
time
much?
here?
How much aura farming does he do at practice, getting ready for the game? during
Does
the
he
week?
mog?
I want to see
we gotta
a media
know.
member ask Veach that.
Is he-
Are you
is he-
engagement farming, Brett?
Is he in the gym looks maxing or not? Like we need to know this. I need to know how serious is he looks maxing in the gym every day?
Go out to Arrowhead and ask Veach that.
No, they're not engagement farming. They're trying to find the best athletes. Someone asked, did you say that Mansour Delane was the top corner prospect in a decade? That's what Albert Breer said the Chiefs thought they were getting as one of the top corner prospects of this decade. Yeah, they clearly think very highly about Mansour Delane, like very highly, enough to trade up in the top 10 to go get him.
It's got to have consistency. A lot of people thought Sauce Gardner was the quote one of the best cornerbacks taken in the last decade, and he didn't. And that's iffy right there. I think the Colts got fleeced on that deal.
Going back a decade, I think Jalen Ramsey's probably the highest graded, like consensus. Like this guy's going to go top 5 sort of corner. Maybe Sauce. I was a big Christian Gonzalez guy a few years ago. And
Christian was
and he's
good.
been great.
He's great.
The Commanders unfortunately took Emmanuel Forbes over him.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know the guy who, though, I think I've felt the strongest about at corner the last few years is Pat Surtain.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like we saw Surtain dad play here. And,
I think he's probably the best.
He's awesome.
Top two.
Surtain, to me, is the best corner in the league. And I think he is on a Hall of Fame path with his level of talent and with his production thus far. He's incredible. And, yeah, I don't think I've felt a corner at that level in a long time.
Agreed.
Someone asked, can you guys convince me that R. Mason Thomas isn't going to be a repeat of Felix? What do they like about him over Zion? His explosiveness off the line of scrimmage. They wanted to get someone who is more of a speed rush type.
Not going to lie, though, I did like Zion better.
Oh, me too. Me too. I wanted them to take Zion over him. I wanted them to take T.J. Parker over him, but, unfortunately, T.J. was off the board at the time. And, it seems to me like R. Mason was going to be the pick regardless. But, the thing for them is that they needed someone who was going to be able to win quick. Someone who could generate pressure quick and push the quarterback up into the pocket for their power rushers to then clean up and get those sacks. So that's the reason why they like R. Mason Thomas. Can I convince you that he's not going to be the next Felix Anudike-Uzomah? No, I can't. Sorry.
Can't convince you. Edge rusher is one of the most specialized positions. It's one of those positions, if one guy's not playing in a game, that is not one of those plug and play either. Next man stand up. Edge rushers are such an elite skill to get to that level, to be an elite pass rusher. They're just thinking you can put somebody else in there. You can't do that. Just special guys. There's few special pass rushers and a whole lot of average.
Yeah. And, for them, it's just like, we're trying to maximize our picks. And I think they're going to go rotation more than they're going to go with, like, R. Mason is going to be a 3-down guy. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they do think he's a 3-down guy.
There's a lot of people think, where's Gelati going to play? Gelati was a rookie of the year last year. Gelati's going to get snaps.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's good.
He's not going to be sitting the bench.
No, he's probably going to be their first, second down guy. Like, third-round pick, they're not giving up on him. Now, you want to add a little bit more because Gelati probably doesn't have the same level of juice as a pass rusher that R. Mason Thomas does, but he's gonna play. He played last year.
Packages for these guys.
Yeah, like this is the reason why, it makes a lot of sense why they wouldn't take an edge rusher at in the first round, because they're thinking, hey, we still got Gelati. We just need a little bit of a supplement, a little bit of help there. Someone also brought up that since we drafted one wide receiver and it was around 5, do you think the Chiefs will try and trade for a wide receiver? There are rumors that the Cardinals are willing to get rid of Marvin Harrison Jr., same with the Jags and Brian Thomas Jr. We talked about this with Brian Thomas Jr. weeks ago because it had been thrown around that you could get him for a 2. So pick 40 would have been the pick that you go and get him. I know you were a little hesitant about it because of the drops.
I like Brian Thomas in college a lot. Brian Thomas drops the football a lot. That's one thing the Chiefs get. Brian Thomas, he was in the doghouse there for a little bit, Jack, because he drops the football. The concentration was a real problem with him. I understand the skill set, and I understand you see it. But how tired are you of Chiefs dropping first downs on 3rd and 8? Brian Thomas has a lack of attention problem sometimes.
I think something was off there with those receivers in Jacksonville because Travis Hunter didn't do that great last year. And we saw Brian Thomas have a great year in an Andy Reid type system when Peterson was the head coach there. So it makes me wonder if something was off with the system more than anything.
As far as trading for receiver, yes. Do I believe the Chiefs could have a trade for receiver? I do, because Orlando Brown, they didn't have a tackle. They had to go get one. They traded for Orlando Brown. I could see a move like that if they see OTAs and they're not satisfied with what they see with what they got, because it's not much different from last year. I could see them making a trade. Not for these guys. But.
At this point, I don't think that's going to happen, and especially not with picks for next year's draft, because right now the Chiefs have 10 picks for next year's draft. 2 of those are compensatory. One is
now gone because, still – because they had an extra one, but the Justin Fields one.
Yeah. So right now they've got 10 picks in the draft in next year's draft. One of us is a compensatory 4th round pick, which was for Jalen Watson, I believe, and the other one was a compensatory 7th round pick. So right now they're looking really good as far as draft picks for next year goes.
And also note you can sign free agents that don't hurt you as of today. You can sign free agents now that don't hurt that formula for comp picks.
Which means you would sit here and you would probably expect Cam Jordan to come off the free agency list sometime soon if the Chiefs want to sign him. And then, we'll see what happens with Tyreek later on
today,
in the summer.
I've expected to see at least something.
Yeah, so. But it's been fun. This has been a lot of fun doing this draft coverage here. I've enjoyed doing the draft coverage for the years. This is in a row. This is what our 5th draft doing coverage together. And I always enjoy it. We're both very nerdy about this, and we very much get deep into the weeds on the players.
Arm length.
Yeah, arm length and all that stuff. And, we talk about, hey, maybe don't worry about 40 times for running backs because they don't matter that much. But we also appreciate our listeners who stay with us from day one, the people that send us their mocks. Lance, obviously. There's Marco on Twitter that has been
Lance
sending us stuff now. We just appreciate, and all the people that showed up last Thursday at the Brooksider.
They went to all of it with Landing and
yeah,
them all.
We appreciate all y'all coming out and being a part of the show. We love the support. We love meeting y'all. We look forward to seeing y'all next year wherever we do it at. Jackson Ogden, great work during this whole process
You're
here.
awesome, bro.
You've been great. You've been killing it, and looking forward to doing this next year. This has been the Character Concerns NFL Draft Special here on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Character Concerns Draft Special with Jay Binkley and Chris Unacero. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor for all parking lot needs. By the Leavenworth PD. Step up. Stand out. Build your career.